In 1776, with extraordinary courage, the founders of our country announced to the world that they would no longer be ruled by the King of England, a king who had absolute power over their lives. They demanded freedom. And to bring that about, they fought a bloody war against the British Empire and the most powerful military in the world. Tens of thousands of Americans died in that 8-year war, but our forefathers fought on and they won. And in 1789, after winning that war, they did something extraordinary. They established the first democratic form of government in modern history. They said loudly and boldly to the entire world, no more kings. In America, they said, we the people will rule. And today, today in the year 2025, in this dangerous moment in American history, our message is exactly the same. No, President Trump, we don't want you or any other king to rule us. Thank you very much, but we will maintain our democratic form of society. We will not move toward authoritarianism. In America, we, the people, will rule. When he was sworn in as the nation's first president, George Washington called this attempt at self-government, quote, an experiment entrusted to the hands of the American people, end quote. My fellow Americans, in an unprecedented way, that experiment is now in danger. It is in danger when we have a president who wants more and more power in his own hands and in the hands of his fellow oligarchs. It is in danger when we have a president who claims that peaceful protests in Portland, Oregon, or Chicago, Illinois, is an insurrection and calls in the U.S. military, and then threatens to arrest the mayors and governors who resist them. It is in danger when we have masked agents working for ICE, breaking down doors, throwing people into vans without due process, and taking them to God knows where. It is in danger when we have a president who sues and intimidates the media, who wants no criticism of him and his policies, and who undermines the First Amendment of our Constitution, the very foundation of American democracy. Our country is in danger when we have a president who threatens to arrest or imprison political opponents who stand against him. including the Attorney General of New York State, a sitting U.S. Senator, and the Governor of California. It is in danger when we have a president who undermines freedom of thought and dissent at our colleges and universities, and who attacks law firms that oppose him in court. It is in danger when we have a president who threatens to impeach judges who rule against him. It is in danger when we have a president who ignores Congress, refuses to spend money that Congress appropriates, and takes away money from states who voted against him. It is in danger when we have a president who demands that states redraw congressional maps to ensure that his chosen candidates win future elections. It is in danger when we have a president who illegally fires tens of thousands of federal employees right here in Washington, D.C. and throughout our country, and rips up union contracts that workers have fought for and won. It is in danger when we have a president who grossly violates the Constitution by accepting gifts from foreign leaders, including a $400 million plane from the royal family of Qatar, and then allows that family to build an Air Force facility in Idaho. Well, let us be clear. This moment is not just about one man's greed, one man's corruption, or one man's contempt for the Constitution. This is about a handful of the wealthiest people on earth who, in their insatiable greed, have hijacked our economy and our political system in order to enrich themselves at the expense of working families throughout this country. Yes, I am talking about Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, and the other multi-billionaires who were sitting right behind Trump when he was inaugurated. Remember that? The very same billionaires who funded his campaign, who have bestowed gifts upon him, and who have seen huge increases in their wealth and power since Trump took office. Yes, I am talking about the insanity of one person, Mr. Musk, owning more wealth than the bottom 52% of American households. I'm talking about the incredible injustice of the top 1% in America now owning more wealth than the bottom 93%. I'm talking about the richest people in America becoming much, much richer, while 60% of our people live paycheck to paycheck, struggling every day to pay their rent and mortgages, pay for child care and education, pay for their health care and prescription drugs, afford decent quality food for their kids, and maybe, just maybe, put aside a few bucks for their retirements. I am talking about our nation, the richest country in the history of the world, having the highest rate of childhood and senior poverty of almost any major country on earth. I am talking about our great nation having 85 million Americans uninsured or underinsured, and 800,000 people who are homeless, including people a few blocks from here. All the while Mr. Musk is on his way to becoming a trillionaire. I am talking about the incredible danger of the richest people in this country pouring hundreds of billions of dollars into artificial intelligence and robotics, which in the next decade will decimate tens of millions of jobs for the American working class. I'm talking about a billionaire class who believe that they have the divine right to rule, and who not only want massive tax breaks for themselves, but who reject any form of accountability or checks on their power. My fellow Americans, we rejected the divine right of kings in the 1770s. We will not accept the divine right of oligarchs today. And now let's take a brief look at where we are today. Where we are today on the 18th day of a government shutdown, which is depriving millions of federal employees of the paychecks they desperately need and deserve. Let me cut to the chase and tell you exactly what this shutdown is all about. As a result of Trump's big, beautiful, disgraceful bill, which made massive cuts to Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act, 15 million low-income and working-class Americans are going to lose the health care they desperately need to stay alive. And my friends, studies suggest that when you throw those 15 million people off of the health care they presently have, 50,000 of them will die unnecessarily every single year. 50,000 Americans will die unnecessarily every single year. But that's not all. As a result of that same terrible piece of legislation, over 20 million Americans are going to see, on average, a doubling of their health insurance premiums through the Affordable Care Act. In my state of Vermont, just the other day, people received notices from insurance companies that their health care premiums in some cases would triple or quadruple. And that is going on all over the country at a time when we already pay, by far, the highest prices in the world for health care. Millions of Americans are going to see outrageous increases in their health care premiums, which they cannot afford. And why is that happening? Why are the Republicans making a broken healthcare system, a dysfunctional healthcare system, even worse? Why are they bringing our healthcare system to the verge of collapse? We all know the answer. We all know the answer. It was to give $1 trillion in tax breaks to Mr. Musk, Mr. Bezos, Mr. Zuckerberg, Mr. Ellison, and the rest of the 1%. $1 trillion in cuts to Medicaid, and the ACA, $1 trillion in tax breaks for the 1%. That, my fellow Americans, is what this shutdown is all about. And let me be as clear as I can be. No, I will not vote for a budget that throws 15 million Americans off their health care. No, I will not vote for a budget that doubles premiums for 20 million Americans. No, I will not vote for a budget that forces nursing homes, rural hospitals, community health centers to lay off staff and close their doors throughout this country. All to give huge tax breaks to the billionaire class. So today, right now, I say to my Republican colleagues, come back from your month-long vacation. Start negotiating and do not allow the American healthcare system to be destroyed. End this shutdown. My fellow Americans, we are the greatest country in the history of the world. And when we stand together and don't allow demagogues to divide us up, there is nothing that we cannot accomplish. Yes, we can create a vibrant democracy by ending Citizens United and not allowing billionaires to buy elections.
Hey friends, I'm going to cut in on Bernie just for a second. We may lose the feed. I'm in a severe thunderstorm warning here in Arkansas, so just be aware that the feed may go out. If it does, please stick with us when my internet comes back. If it does quickly, it'll just restart the feed. But just wanted to give everyone a quick heads up that we may head out here.
To enjoy the American dream and own a home of their own. Yes, we can make public colleges and universities tuition-free and have the best child care and public school system in the entire world. Yes, we can expand Social Security so that every senior in our country can retire with dignity. Yes, we can raise the minimum wage to a living wage and guarantee every worker the right to join a union. Yes, we can lead the world in transforming our energy system away from fossil fuels and create millions of good jobs as we save the planet. Yes, we can guarantee that every woman in this country has the right to control her own body. Yes, we can have a foreign policy that guarantees that never again will American taxpayer dollars be used to starve children in Gaza or any place else. And now let me raise a question that I have been asked over and over again. You know, Bernie, great ideas, But how are you going to pay for them? Great question. Thanks for asking. And here is the answer. At a time when the wealthiest people in America have never, ever had it so good. At a time when billionaires are paying an effective tax rate lower than a truck driver or a nurse. Yes, the top 1% and large profitable corporations will pay their fair share in taxes.
All right, I'm going to unmute Tara and I'm actually going to switch us over, if it's still going on, and maybe we can talk about it. I'm going to see if it keeps playing, though, is the rally that's happening in Chicago right now. I want to see if we can catch the last little bits of Davy Pritzker.
Okay.
But the feed keeps coming in and out. Okay. I'm going to switch over to. It looks like they're done for JB. So we'll let Bernie go in the background a little bit with us. So we've got Shane Urick joining us from San Diego. Live from San Diego, Shane Urick of the Firebrand Project. So welcome, Tara Devlin, and welcome, Shane Urick.
Thank you.
It's great to have both of you here with us today.
It's great to be here. Yep.
I'm going to make it a little bit larger for our screens. Well, I'll keep Bernie in the. Oh no, we lost. There he is.
What happened?
There he is. I think we lost Shane for his sound for a second. So let's mute Bernie for a second. Shane, while you're with us, let's bring you up. Live recording from San Diego. Can you let us know what's going on there for you? How things are going?
So, I don't know if we can see Nick, but I'm standing here in front of the USS Midway down here in San Diego. And you can just see that folks just keep on coming. This will go for, I don't even know. I've been standing here trying to connect for at least 10 minutes. And folks just keep on coming by. But yeah, it's been absolutely incredible. San Diego is just turning out, man.
Good, that's awesome. Tara, how are you today? How's things been going on your side?
I'm excited that all these patriots are out and pushing back on the authoritarianism that is barreling at us. It gives me hope for the future. It really does. Could you imagine how despondent we would feel if people weren't standing up? So this really is encouraging, and I hope it is it gets the powers of the universe, the ones who are capitulating. I hope they have a little bit of shame today, too. And really, we can't forget who these people are.
Yeah.
When the time comes, there will be a reckoning.
Oh yeah.
Legally and peacefully, of course. But yes.
But a reckoning can happen. And we can make, if laws aren't strong enough, we can make them stronger.
It has to. We have to. These people have to atone for the fact that they tried to destroy our system of government, that every patriot who ever wore the uniform or fought, bled, and died, they sacrificed to entrust to us. It's that simple. To me, it's a disgrace that people like Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, how they love to show themselves with the flag and things like that. There's this video of Zuckerberg boogie boarding, with an American flag. They just love to hump flags, rape flags, but they have no idea that they don't care about what the flag is, the substance of patriotism is, while they're, we're here, I guess, to teach them, really. They need a lesson, that's for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And welcome, Stephanie Wilson, to the cast.
Hi, guys.
It's good to see you. It's good to have you with us. And thank you for sharing that video from this morning. It was incredible to see and watch.
I'm sorry the video wasn't better. I didn't expect it. I thought I'd be on there for like 5 minutes, and then that poet just like blew me away. So,
Oh, it was incredible. I
so if
thought
you
that
haven't seen it, go
was,
back and look.
yeah, definitely sorry to cut you there. If you haven't,
No.
100% see it. Law is king, no man, is what I got out of all of that poem. Like towards the end, holy cow, that was amazing. Like I got chills listening to him talk.
We'll have to get that link and to share with people.
Yeah, and I'll pull it back up, and I may even replay it here. It's 10 minutes long, and it's worth listening to now that we have
Do you want to play it?
We have almost 250, over 250 on the Banner and Backbone stream by itself.
Yeah, we have over 200 on my stream at Tarabuster, and then the Political Voices stream, and we have a few people watching.
Yeah, we have one or two of y'all are here with us today.
Yeah.
50 on my stream.
And it's amazing.
Well, this is great. I mean, this is really encouraging because let's not forget that we are the majority. I don't care what Trump goes on about. You know, he's got a mandate. 1.42% of the beating Kamala Harris is not a mandate. 33% of the 66% of registered voters that came out on election day voted for Trump. That's what brought us to this horrible position. But let's not forget, there are more of us, and the people who stayed home on election day, the Democrats voted for Biden but stayed home on election, they got us here too. So but really, I don't think that as far as Trump, he wants to be a king, of course, and there are authoritarian followers. 35% of personality trait are authoritarian followers, and that's why his approval rating never really goes below that rate, 35%. But because some people do want a king, they want to abdicate the responsibilities of being an adult in a civic society. So, but anyway, there are more of us than there are of them. So we just have to organize and take it back unapologetically. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephanie, before I get into replay the video from earlier today that you posted, what are your thoughts? And how do you feel after being there?
It was really energizing. And there were so many more people than there were last time for the No Kings. And then there was also a rally for Declaration of Independence for 4th of July. And this was vastly more people. And there were like tourist buses, coaches lined up. And I don't know if they were there specifically for the rally or if they just came to Lexington to check it out. But if they didn't know, now they know.
Now they do.
So when I got there, one of our town meeting members was speaking about the women in Lexington's history. And then the poet laureate of Massachusetts came on. And I'm sorry, the video is so wobbly and so far away, but that's what I could do at the moment. But it was great. I mean, I've now listened to it 3 times. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay, let's play it because the suspense is killing me.
Yeah.
Building up the suspense here. Let me get it back on the screen. And look at that. Even it pulled it up even like beautifully. Let me get it larger again for us, enter our full screen. And I've got it queued up for right before our the poet laureate. His name is Reggie Gibson. And this is an amazing speech he gave today. So hope y'all enjoy a second rewatching of this. I know I'm going to enjoy my third. So,
speaker, excuse me, convening to promote the common But the word Commonwealth is only a word, and words do not have meaning. This is the secret that we teachers of language understand. Words do not have meaning. Words are grunts. They are sounds, expectorations of air that we shape through tone and pitch. Words have no meaning. What gives them meaning is when they are embodied, when they are instantiated, when they are manifested and were manifested through action. Yeah. And this is an important distinction because we are a constitutional republic, a community held together by a document made of words. Words, and if those words are to have meaning, it is up to us to create it. Yes. I think often about what led us here. It's easy to blame MAGA, Washington. They certainly deserve our share of vitriol that we can give them. But truth is, there's another truth to that. We got here one racist grandmother at a time. We got here one homophobic grandfather at a time. We got here one sexist brother at a time. One transphobic sister at a time. One slur we let pass at the dinner table at a time. One to hell with you, it's about my 401k at a time. One turned back on another's humanity at a time. One hatred, one disregard, one shut mouth when we should have shouted, "You will not speak death into my republic." At a time. Make no mistake about it. Every one of our sacred words that we did not give action to has brought us to this. But as Senator Markey reminded us, when we gave the word freedom meaning, men and women fought here and a country was born. When we gave the word freedom, meaning women became liberated, it happened. When we gave the word freedom, meaning legal segregation of schools happened. When we gave the word freedom, meaning civil rights happened, gay rights happened, trans rights happened. And even though this is the first state to institutionalize slavery, was also the first to get rid of it because we gave the word freedom. It's always been this way. It's always been this fight, whether our forces were going to rally in the right direction of history or away from the right direction. Whether we were going to walk that razor-thin line between our lower animalistic nature and our more higher transcendent selves. And we've always had to make that choice. Our future depends on this. So when they speak of our time, let them say, what will they say? They will say this was a time when truth abandoned our words. That it was when pestilence and plague were a president's mouth. They will say this is when the internet wedded fact to fiction and disinformation became mainstream and scripture. Yeah. They will say this was when we hamster wheeled inside the jagged jaws of civic death that hovered above us, licking murderously its lips. They will say that this was when civility was assassinated on the steps of our nation's capital and multitudinous monstrosities masqueraded as law. They will say, when they speak about time, they will say that it was when morality drank gluttonously of hatred's hemlock, that we mocked as democracy cowered to executive power. They will say a horrible darkness kissed our ears, kissed us until we closed our eyes and trembled with fear until we became the very darkness we feared. They will say that this was the time of God on our side, of God is our guide, as crosses turned into gun after gun after gun after gun behind pews of prayerful eyes, and both red and blue forgot that their God was colorblind. They will say that this was the hour of the food-shrunken belly and of refugee and of those turned away in the time of their human need as the justly imprisoned enemies of the state walked free through prison gates. They will say it was when English, spoken with the wrong accent, meant an uncertain fate. They will say this was the time of the bullet bite, the misogynist blight, the applauded abuse, the anti-truth, the anti-learning. They will say this was when we set the world on the brim, burning. But also let them say that this was a time we fought against a civic genocide. That something transcendently human in us stood up to resist the Orwellian jackboot. That finally, in the raspy baritone of Ray Charles, we heard what our country could be. That in the wise words of Walt Whitman, we rose to the challenge and the charge of true democracy. That in the aspic bite of Mark Twain's wit, we finally got the punchline, finally realized that manifest destiny would no longer patch the human-sized hole in our history. Let them say that this is when we said yes again and again and again and again to the verses of Emma Lazarus' new Colossus, resounding with, "Give me your time, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to break free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shores, send you the peas, the homeless, the tempest tossed to me." Let them say, yes. Let them say that this is when we said yes again and again and again and again to the verses of Pablo Neruda, resounding with peace for the coming twilights, peace for the breach, peace for the wine, peace for the letters that seek us and rise in our blood, peace for the city in the morning when the bread rises, peace for the ashes of our fallen, peace for all living, peace for all waters and land. Let them say that this is when we fought, how we've been conditioned. Let them say this is when the woman stepped forward declaring, "I am that I am," and we men began to break ourselves of the need to break women. Let them say that this was when our better angels spoke and we learned to lean in and listen. That this was the time we struggled against fist and fallacy and of judges refusing to kangaroo their courts and show that in America the law is king. And say that this is when our youth saw us here, found truth and hope fluttering madly on their tongues like a caged feathered thing. And because of us, they were unafraid to open their mouths and let it stretch its wings and sing. Let them say that we were a people of a humanistic faith in a time when faith in humanity was foolish. Let them say that we were a people of an infinite hope when it made no sense to hope at all. That we still believed that love could be as simple as the images our ancestors painted on caves, images birthed from our first human songs, songs of water and flower, the sun, moon, and star, and wind, and rain, and river, and fire, and that even as all shook beneath our shoes, you knew that you were part of me, and I was part of you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you. That we are all parts of all. Right. Let them say that this was a time we desperately reached through this malignant maelstrom of electronic chaos. Reached through the mad and maddening invocations of the soulless who profit from the poisonous pathology of our time. Reached through and found others here with our own eyes, with our own hands, reaching back.
And as I unmute all of us here, I'm going to actually bring our friend Sherrod Swaney from Centered America into view.
Hello.
Let's see if I can do that. Oh, not maximize. Why don't I just click on your screen? There we go. Hey, Sherrod, can you give us some information about where you are, what your and how the rally's going for you.
Yeah. Hi, Nick. I'm in St. Louis right now. Right now, I am marching down the street. We're on Market Street right now in St. Louis. Currently, there's a band playing. We're shutting down the whole street. It's really great.
That's awesome.
We got some great signs over here. It's all patriotic. American flags everywhere. It's great.
Oh, that's amazing. Can you give us a little bit of an estimate, do you think, of how many people are with you in the streets in St. Louis right now?
I'm going to say probably over 10,000, maybe over 20,000.
I think we have to think about that number, y'all.
Mm.
That's a huge number in Missouri. That's Missouri. That means Missouri's awake. That's what everybody calls a red state. They ain't that red. They're just
Yeah.
lying. And so, Tara, Stephanie,
Yes.
what do you think of all this?
Some lightning.
Oh, yeah. Hey, take care of yourself, Sharon. Do not get struck by lightning
Oh.
today.
This is made of wood, so it'll be all right.
Okay. So Tara, I know that might have been your first time hearing that poem that we just listened to. Sharon, I'm gonna bring your volume down just a little bit so that you're in the background and we can get some feedback on that amazing poem today.
Yeah.
Tara, what do you think?
Well, it was, gave me chills actually, and especially the last line, how he talks about reaching back, the hand reaching back. I'm choking up talking about it. Well, this happens on my show a lot. I get very emotional about this stuff, and yeah, because it's personal, of course, but it's not just about me, and that's exactly what that poem, I believe, was speaking to, the interconnectedness of our lives, our history, and the responsibility that we have to each other in the moment, but to the future. And we don't have a choice at this point. We have to stand up. And I do believe, and this is what's so heartbreaking. And listening to Bernie, and Bernie is, I don't know how old he is now. He's over 80 years old. And every time I see him, I'm awed by him and his energy, his passion, his commitment to making this country live up to its promises. And that's really what we're talking about. It's not just making it better. Of course it will, but we were promised a country that is worthy of us by the sacrifices of the people that came before us. They didn't fight, bleed, and die to create a country where the rich could ride us mercilessly to the bank, unfettered by pesky government. That's the system that they overthrew. And so we have an obligation, to bring that to fruition. And it's really heartbreaking when when Bernie's talking about healthcare, because to me, it really is emblematic of how sick the country is and how divided we are. And I believe we don't have universal healthcare because of racism and also greed. So, and it is a patriotic imperative at this point to ensure that no American needs to or has to needlessly die without health care, because the psychological effect of a universal healthcare system would be to is a social effect as well. We are in this together. It's it is bringing e pluribus unum into action, and I think that's what we have to propose it as. It's like FDR created Social Security to belong to everyone on purpose. They did that. He did that on purpose, saying no damn politician can scrap my program. And the reason we're struggling with now with the possibility, the very real possibility of millions of Americans getting kicked off their health care is because of the incrementalism and the willingness for us to accept the fact that that no matter how much no matter how many steps we take into getting more people insured, it's never everybody. We always leave millions out, and I don't understand why that's acceptable. Like, and it's Democrats always say, well, incrementalism and is the way. I At this point, do we have time for incrementalism? I know maybe it's a practical I guess that's a practical political stance, but it's we have to make programs that last. Everybody in, nobody out has to be the only American value, and I think that's what we have to frame it as. It's just patriotism. Patriots don't leave anybody behind. I'm sick of the division, frankly. I don't know about
Yeah.
you, but that's really, when
Absolutely.
I say that patriots don't leave anybody behind, it just rings true. It feels right. I mean, we can do this. So that's what I'm seeing today in the streets.
Right. I think there's two competing ideas of patriotism. One is that patriotism is for Christian white men
Yep.
and everybody else underneath the jackboot, and the rest of us who think that patriotism is walking in the streets, demanding
Hmm.
our democracy back. One of the things you said, which I don't mean to call you out, Tara, when they started Social Security
Oh, yeah, no.
and the GI Bill,
Right. There was
it left out domestic workers and construction workers.
it left
Basically,
out,
it left
well,
out the
there
black
was
community.
there are the GI Bill, especially the people of color didn't have the access to the GI Bill, the same parts of the GI Bill as white GIs did. Yes, of course. That's, yeah.
Right. So, and the GI Bill built the white middle
Mhm,
class, but
mhm. Yep.
I think that's a lot. I mean, that's not where all the wealth and inequality comes from, but I think that's probably a good place in modern American history to
Mhm.
start. So the poet apparently is a resident of my town. And I've now listened to it 4 times, and it's the way he said it's one racist grandfather and one
Mm.
homophobic, I don't
Mhm.
even remember,
Right,
mother and one sexist brother,
right,
all of those things adding up to inequality. Um, and even though I think that that's true, besides the fact that it's baked into the system. So you have both
right,
individual discrimination and systemic racism and discrimination, and they're both hard to break because the country isn't divided. The whites in America are divided.
right.
For the most part, the black community, people of color, are not divided. Um, so uh, I, I agree. It would be what I'm asking everybody on my podcast now is, what radical creativity would you bring to when we rebuilt? Um, and I think some of the things that you were saying, Tara, that's, we have to keep those things in mind, even if it's not yet time to do that rebuilding.
Right.
Sorry,
No,
the
absolutely.
sun is in my face.
Right. And that's why I think we should have a Project 2028 or Project 2020, whatever it might be,
Well, I think we need a little bit more creativity instead of just following what they did.
Mm.
But yeah,
Well, there has to be some kind
no.
of this is the thing with the Democrats. It always frustrated me. like, for example, when I was in Washington for the Occupy movement, and they ended up making this manifesto that had everything on. It was so ridiculously long because no one wanted to be to offend anybody or leave anybody, anybody's issue off, and it just becomes
Right.
so I think muddied and easy to dismiss that way. So I hear you. It's not about
And
like following what they do, but maybe it's about, you know, uh giving the American people something to rally around. And if Project 2025 is something that they already have a relationship to, well, Project 2028 would be restoring the democratic system. So I don't know. I'm not saying like let's run with it. I'm just throwing it out there.
I do agree though that we need something. We need a
Yeah.
plan of what people are for, and I think we're all starting to see people obviously are coming out ag- against kings. So we are for representative democracy. We are for, like Bernie said, universal health care and universal education. Those are not free. Those are paid through by our taxes and by taxing people correctly, taxing corporations, taxing billionaires. There should be no billionaires like this.
Exactly.
There
Yep.
should be
no,
no terrible, like overreaching
Exactly.
level of inequality that we have. There was an individual who, like, I saw this morning from another creator on Substack here, the Resistor, saying there was a billionaire that just gave away like 98 or has given away like 98% of his wealth and is now down to a 2 millionaire because he paid for the education for lower income and underprivileged students.
Mhm.
And that's what all billionaires should be doing. Like,
Yeah.
so I
Right.
kind of believe
well,
there's a bit of a wealth gap or wealth cap that we should have because at
Yes.
some point money becomes so meaningless that there's no point in having that much of it. Like, what's the point in having
Absolutely.
billions and billions of dollars if you're never going to spend any of it? And
It's a sickness.
right.
It's a sickness. And the thing is,
Scott Galloway talks about it a lot, about how the difference between 150 million and a billion is basically nothing, but for people
hmm,
like in the normal scale, um, that kind of, you know, the difference between somebody making 40,000 a year and somebody making
right.
$300,000 a year is
hmm
everything.
hmm
But he's a good one to listen to.
Scott Galloway. Yes. Yes.
Scott
But it's
Galloway.
also, the whole thing, it's just a billionaire having the ability to fund schools is anti-American. And I know that
Mhm.
we've had this discussion on my show before because um, people were praising what's her name, Taylor Swift, for giving away a bunch of money to a food bank, and I'm of the opinion, okay, that's great. I'm very happy that she does that, but we should not, first of all, have food banks. We should have enough food for everybody, but also we shouldn't have to depend on the good graces of our betters to have a functioning society. And that's exactly the system that the founders
Yeah.
rebelled against. So just when, like, for example,
Both
when,
and.
what's that? Sorry.
I said it's a little bit both and, because they were they were rebelling against it being turned on them, but they had no qualms about them being at a
Right.
higher
Of
level
course.
of society
Well,
than
yeah.
enslaved
I
people
mean, they
are.
were men of their
So
times,
that's
of
why.
course. When they wrote all men are created equal, they meant all white men, of course, not women, not anyone of darker pigment. In their, point of view, that was a man. So yeah, I mean, in all their hypocrisies, of course, factored in, but I'm taking them at their word in the current country that we live in. And that's when this is what I say when Republicans, right wingers, the more we embrace the franchise, the more we expand the franchise and try to take the founders at their word, not factoring in their flaws. and the lives that they led, which were completely filled with hypocrisies, of course. But then that's when the right wingers want to throw the whole system out the window, where, as we saw on January 6th, they don't, and they would like a king. A lot of them want a king. They say this out loud now. And it's pretty shocking to me. They should be ashamed of themselves, I think. I don't know. They weren't raised right, I guess.
They've never gotten anything. A lot of them have never seen anything positive from democracy because the whole system's failing them.
That's true.
What I think is interesting is the founders saw people like Trump, the grifters, the greed. They were surrounded by those kinds of people, and the general the way that bad, evil, greedy, grifty, power hungry people is no different today than it was then. They were just counting on greed opposing greed, as opposed to greed bowing to greed. There was a TV show on, I don't remember, a miniseries on Benjamin Franklin, with Michael Douglas. I could look it up.
Right.
Really, really good. But it was him in the French court, and like court shenanigans were all of this kind of bullshit.
Right.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's going to have to come out of all of this in the end, is that we need to get rid of endless appeals for courts. Like, there needs to be some sort of update to our court system, because
say that again. We need to get rid of
endless appealing of.
Oh, you mean
what Trump did to appeal everything?
Well, that's what he does.
That's an abuse of the court system. And
of course. But that's why, I mean, this is exactly what the Nazis did too. They corrupted the courts. They took them over 10 years to get into legitimate power. But all along the way, they were stuffing the courts with their loyalists that would nullify whatever crimes they were committing. And the Republicans did the same thing, but nobody called them out as it was happening, which would drive me insane, really. And they have, they completely corrupted the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court needs to be reformed, if in the very least. I think it's a rubber stamp. I mean, how do you take immunity, for example? That's why people were even shocked that they took that case. Lower courts, when you have all of this pattern of the lower courts that really give very stern judgments against the crimes of Trump, his wanting to be a king, and then the Supreme Court simply nullifies it. It's just when does it end? Just because they
that's why they were put there,
exactly,
by the money and the power and the Nazis, actually, the Harlan Crow and the Federalist Society, and everyone said, "Oh, you can't call them Nazis. That's not really what they are. That's hyperbolic." Right. And we're learning differently.
Yeah. Next time they start telling us who they are, we should all believe them.
That's right. I mean, they are. They absolutely are. But people all along the build up to this, because this didn't happen overnight, so they there was the Godwin's law bullshit. I don't know if you remember that. Whenever you brought up Nazis, apparently you automatically lost the argument. And people say, well, don't ever bring up Nazis because that makes you seem like, you're nuts or something. But in my opinion, it's what's the point of learning from history? This is not ancient history. I mean, there are people alive who survived that regime, and we should learn from their lessons. In fact, we should be even hyper vigilant about it, not just, oh, well, that's very, that's out of the realm of possibility. Of course it's not.
Yeah. And
while we're
talking, I'm going to bring up in the background, Stephanie, continue on. I'm going to bring up in the background one of our friends of the show, Kat. She's live streaming in Houston right now from the rally. Well, I'm going to actually bring up her feed itself as a short video. so that it can just go in the background, sort of like Sharon's was doing, but so that people can see what's going on in real time while we're discussing this stuff too, and having a good
My cat is sneezing a lot.
time.
He's got a cold.
What happens when cats are sneezing?
I don't. I
Hello.
mean, he's on medicine. I think he's got a respiratory infection, but I don't know if you
Aw.
could hear him. He was just sneezing a lot, but he's a good boy.
Wow, looks like Houston's pretty packed.
This
Yeah,
is
so
great.
Yep. So I'm gonna,
What I was going to say is
ahead.
that, oh, go ahead.
no, sorry, go ahead.
When you said we need to start believing them when they tell us who they are more quickly, the people who believe them and talk about it are like laughed out of town
Yes.
for being, absolutely bonkers, because that would never happen in the United States. And you're being, they get gaslit.
Yes.
We get gaslit
Yep.
a lot.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I think that's one of the things I'm most tired of all of this nonsense is the gaslighting. I know as a millennial, we've been gaslit since, just like most other generations have been gaslit in ways. But like my first experience of it was I was in high school when the housing market crashed, and we got blamed for it.
Millennials.
Millennials.
Right.
We got blamed for the housing market crash.
Right.
which
Well, they
is
blame millennials for a lot. They're always saying, "Oh, this is the generation that wants to just, float on on dreams or whatever the hell." But it's
Right.
the generation that has survived a lot of crises in this country, and it's just, but that's what they do, right? They want to make it about the individual and not the system that's broken.
Right. Well, Jenna, if we're really going to get into generational victim Olympics, Gen X has been fucked over from the beginning, and I stand by that.
We've all been fucked. I mean, my parents were, baby boomers, so my father was a victim of Rush Limbaugh. Frankly, he was a garbage man, a union worker, a teamster, who listened to Rush Limbaugh, and he believed his bullshit, and we would get into it even before I was completely aware of everything. And then you could see it, the racism, the division that they poured into that generation, who, we were able to have a house, and my father, bought a car every couple of years and have a good life because of the unions, because he was a recipient, a beneficiary of the New Deal. And that's just not available now. It's just, not. And, but I think because of that, they, into that comfortability, they poured that racism. And so this is a generation that started to think that, oh, well, if I could do it, what's wrong with you? And so don't look at the system, look at the individual. And because there's nothing wrong with the system, of course, as the rich keep getting richer and the working class fall lower on the ladder. And this is where we are. I mean, we went from the most upwardly mobile to the least upwardly mobile in 40 years because of policy. But anyway,
due to trickle down.
I'm dropping a conversation on Tuesday with someone who makes a lot of commercials and films with good messaging. And we talked a lot about, what is going to need to change in the system, if or when and if and how we rebuild. And I don't know if you're going to cut away, Nick, but if you're not, I'll give you all a preview of what he thinks needs to change. His top 3. Number 1 is that we need to nationalize all of the oil companies, all of the energy companies, because that money belongs it comes out of our earth, it belongs to the people.
Mhm.
Number 2 is what was number 2? I don't remember what number 2 was right now. And number 3 is reparations to the Black community. Because that's, the more they're repaid for stolen labor, the more it helps the economy now. And I know what the other one was. So that was really interesting. And the third one was national service. We all need to do some sort of national service when we're 18, military, non-military, AmeriCorps, whatever it is, so that we meet people outside of our bubbles and we actually serve the country
Right.
instead of just
Well,
expecting
that would be nice.
more and more
Yeah.
from it. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
totally. Mm-hmm.
I think my addition to that at this point is I think reparations for every American, because we have all been made poorer and poorer, and all of our wealth has turned into billionaire wealth, and all of our economic futures and our support and freedom for long term has become somebody else's money and given to the billionaires. And I don't know if it's enough just for us to give reparations back to the Black community for the damage that was done to them generations ago and continues to be done. I think it needs to be all of us at this point who have been damaged. It's the only way we're going to actually move forward, is if we all benefit from it and nobody feels left behind anymore. And when I say nobody left behind, I truly mean everybody is included moving forward. But if you refuse to be part of a social contract where you maintain a democratic order and a strong republic and are willing to support those values, such as through civil service of some sort like that, even if it's military or non-military, I think that's super important. And I met some of the best people in the world through the military who I would have never known otherwise. And it teaches you how to actually talk and interact with humans that are not of you or of your neighborhood.
Right.
So I don't disagree with those. I just think maybe we need to go a little further.
Oh yeah, I mean those were his first 3. Those were like the beginning of the list. As I said, I'm going to start asking everybody what they can come up with. But the interesting thing I find about societies who are doing it well, if you look at Norway, they're doing it well. They're supporting their people, and coincidentally, they found oil in the North Sea, and that's where their wealth. I mean, there are high taxes, but there's a lot of wealth that came out of that, and that's a lot of what's been able to be supporting their society. I mean, it's the right values, and it's a small, homogenous society, blah blah blah. But money helps. Just like in Saudi Arabia, they give a little stipend to everybody from the oil.
And they do that in Alaska too. You get a check up in Alaska. I mean, so yeah, it's just there's so many things that have to change, and I think that what was that, the reparations and whatnot. It just seems like that it will never happen in a country that doesn't really have some kind of spiritual awakening first about the fact that we're in this together, that there has to be some kind of truth and reconciliation, that, when you have you have to understand, I'm just saying that people have to understand that we're that and the power structure and the right wingers don't want to understand that there are all different types of American experiences, and to them the white male experience is the only one that has value. And so even listening to the poet, I was thinking that he's talking about the promises of this country, but and what I see is that right wingers, they don't even consider him an heir to that. to those promises. They don't consider people who have darker pigment to be, legitimate, real Americans, so to speak. And that's another thing that Republicans always talk about: real America. This is real America. Everywhere we look, they're dividing us. So along blue states and red states, and we're real America and you're not. I mean, even the fact that Greg Abbott and these red state governors are sending their National Guard to other states is, we should all be offended by that. I mean, I am. I'm sure you guys are. But I mean, in general, it is an abomination that
It is.
because they think of us as not as America, but we're the ones who are actually carrying the mantle of the revolution. So that's what I think.
Yeah, and I'm just going to pull this back up in the background for our Houston stream. So don't worry, anybody, we're not going anywhere. And I'm flipping this around on our pictures and all sorts of fun stuff. But yeah, I gain strength though from the fact that we're showing up, that people are
Yes.
sustaining the movement,
Mm-hmm.
because what people should take hope from, what I take hope from in all of this, is it's bigger today. It feels bigger. People are coming out in more places. There are more rallies. People are excited to do this. They're not afraid to go out, and they're doing it peacefully. And people are coming out,
Yes.
and they are doing their patriotic duty and their civil duty and their civic duty to actually participate. And I think that's the thing that we, even without policy, without the need to discuss policy, without the need to discuss like what things we want to get done, all we need to do is like discuss how get back to the point where we can actually see America as a country that is unified in some way. Like
Mm-hmm.
it is today is a great step showing that there's unity and can be unity, and that it can grow. So I think we should take hope
Right.
from that, even
It
though we're
also,
divided still.
yeah, it also gives people a lot of social proof because people want to do what they think people like them are doing.
Mhm.
So when more and more normal, uh, nonviolent, regular people from regular towns are out there, I mean, it's just like
Right.
the three demonstrations in Lexington. One was, a couple of hundred people. The next was a couple thousand people. I have no idea what today was, but like it builds, and hope is contagious, and
Yeah.
courage is contagious.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I
Yeah.
really think that I hope the American people are seeing how disingenuous, how the Republicans lying about No King's Day. That if people are they're so eager to lie to the faces of the American people, calling it a hate America rally and saying it's filled with Hamas and Antifa, that this organization that doesn't exist, and that's just an idea. It's not an actual thing, but it shows us just how disingenuous, how nefarious the Republican Party is. They have nothing to offer this country, and I'm
Mhm.
not just like a hate Republican person. It's about the fact that, I mean, what are they offering America? They make, I mean, we have very real problems in this country, like we're talking about, like Bernie was talking about, like healthcare, like living wages, like retirement security. And instead of dealing with our actual problems, they go on about blue state crime waves and shit that doesn't exist, things that
Well,
aren't happening. So,
that's the point. That's
mm-hmm.
the absolute point. I'm putting a picture. No, it's not going to work. There's a picture on Blue Sky. Know your parasites. Deer tick, dog tick, and then
I've
a
seen
picture
that.
of Trump, and it says lunatic.
Yes,
Send me the
yes.
link in the private chat, and I'll pull it up as I'll share that screen
Okay.
for a second.
But it's like,
I can-
if we could see this, and the people, I'm sure, at these rallies can see this, can see the Republican Party for what they are, and but the mainstream media, the legacy media, they have, in my opinion, they have a duty to call it out. But of course, they won't. They won't. And it's part of how they enable this. Of course, we have Fox News and all that, which is another example of why billionaires shouldn't exist. This is the other thing. Even when I remember during when AOC first was elected, and she was interviewed by Chuck Todd, and she was talking about the raising the top marginal tax rate back to Eisenhower's rate of 90%, and he said something. Oh no, wait, he was talking to. No, I'm getting it mixed up. He was one thing, but it was during the Democratic debate when Bloomberg was on stage, and and Bernie, all the Democrats were there, and Chuck Todd asked Bloomberg, he said, Bernie Sanders thinks billionaires shouldn't exist. Mr. Bloomberg, should you exist? Right? I mean, what a way to phrase that question. Should you exist? It's not about you. It's not about Bloomberg. To boil it down to this personal attack, like Bernie is somehow going after billionaires, that the basic humanity of billionaires, and he wants to annihilate them. That's basically what that question was framed as. Should you exist? Like we should all rally around the billionaire, the poor put upon billionaire who's being attacked by this mean old man who wants everybody to have health care. And, but that's what the American people have been hearing. And the American people, a lot of, especially the ones in the red states that are listening to Fox News, they have Stockholm syndrome. And I was talking about this on my show last night. There was this lady who's going to lose her health care. It was a report by ABC News, and she's like, I work hard. I'm good. I'm a good person. I just want to be able to afford my health care. She's a Trump voter, of course. I need those subsidies, but I'm not taking advantage. I mean, basically that was her stance, because we've all been. I mean, not all of us, but the Republican voters have been conditioned to think that that there's a good poor person and a bad poor person, that some people don't deserve subsidies or health care, or that we should all beg for. I'm not trying to take advantage. I'm just trying to get health care. And why should you even be put in that position? The woman should be mad that we live in a system that puts her in this position. Like the lady who called up Mike Johnson yelling about her kids are going to die because they don't get their medicine, and she's a Republican and all this. But you should be demanding a system like the rest of the world has, and instead of begging for the scraps and then apologizing for it. That's what I think. It's just the American people need we need a spiritual awakening in this country, and it comes with us. I think there's so many things like Republicans dividing us, and I'm even seeing with. I was looking on the what is that, the Citizen app, because the Citizen app, it came up a notification saying the No Kings March was happening near where I am. And there's a lot of right wingers on that app, because they're all they're looking for crime everywhere. But so they were posting about, MAGA and all this other shit. But and mocking people, and liberal tears and things, and that liberal tears things really gets under my skin, because it's another way. I mean, it's another way to divide. Who wants to drink the tears of their fellow Americans? I don't want to drink your tears, right wingers. I want you to have health care. I don't want you to be tearing up. I'm not trying to own you or trigger you. And that's really the truth. That's what we're seeing in this rally. Nobody wants to drink your tears. No one's out there today to own the conservatives, or trigger them or upset them. I don't know. It's just irritating how.
Well, and the thing is, like, there aren't people out there trying to do that because none of the people out there half the people out there see themselves as conservative anyway.
Right.
At this point,
Yeah.
like, I'm a conservative American because I want to conserve the Constitution
Yeah. There you go.
and defend the institutions that give me the ability to live, like
Right.
the VA and the media are two major institutions that impact me on a regular, like
Yes.
very seriously impact my life. And I'm going to fight for them. And it's about being for something. That's what a conservative is. You
Yeah.
conserve something.
Used to be, right?
You make sure that it lives and maintains and sustains and grows. And then you become a progressive by progressing that system forward
Mhm.
and making it more inclusive. They're not
Mhm.
mutually exclusive terms.
Right. It's
People have
true.
made them that. Because the opposite of progressive is regressive,
Mm,
not conservative.
true.
These
Yeah.
people are regressives. Like the
Yes.
Republican
Oh,
Party,
totally.
progressive
Totally.
party. They're fascist. They want to take without building. We want to
Mhm.
conserve and build,
That's right.
which is why I think we've made a stupid flaw of deciding that we have to be conservative or progressive or liberal or whatever, and we can't be all of them because that's like we are. We are
Right.
all of them.
Yeah,
We
it's
live in
true.
a liberal democracy, even if conservatives want to, or these folks want to call it something else, but like it's still a liberal democracy that is a constitutional republic.
Yeah,
Like,
they don't like
do
that.
that.
Well, that confuses them too, you know.
I know.
That's why
Words and
they
thinking are
yeah.
hard.
Yeah. They don't that's why and I always say Republicans say they want to drown government, they want to shrink government, they want to kick government in the balls and drown it in the bathtub, you know. But what they really want is to destroy democracy. That's what they're talking about. It's not government that they don't like. They like government just fine. They like a very big government, in fact, an authoritarian government that is up your, everything. Whether you
Mhm.
no freedom in that government, you're only free within the constraints that they set out for you. Like in Nazi Germany, you had a very nice time in Nazi Germany if you were not part of a targeted group and you just went along went along with the operation, and same thing here in this country. They want you to be as free as they want you to be. Like cancel culture, they love cancel culture. They
Mhm.
want to cancel, everyone's health care now. They love it. They want to look at Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert. That's cancel culture right there. They don't understand, or they really don't care about freedom. I remember the time where we would say, I may not agree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. And that used to be a very American understanding. Not anymore. As long as you if you don't agree with the dear leader, then, he's coming after you. And I often wonder when he's going to go, when they're going to come after our little enclaves here too, because that day will come if they have enough power, if they continue.
Hopefully not for a little while at least.
Yeah,
Like
it's true. Yeah, but
at
this
least
is
let me
good.
get the house
Yeah,
and all that good stuff and some stuff in the way. Then they can like they can try. But they
right. Well,
won't succeed.
they might try. Yeah, that's I mean, don't. It's not out of the realm of possibility. It's really true. But that's why we have to stop them now. And this is how we will stop them. Part of how we will stop them is with the independent media.
Mhm.
Like what happened in Poland. They were able to push back because they also had an independent media that was able to speak truth about the regime. So yeah, I hope we can follow suit. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And I'm posting pics that Stephanie's been linking to me throughout the whole time. So I hope everybody's been
Nice.
enjoying the view of different rallies
Oh,
throughout the country.
put up the last one
Oh
I
my God,
gave you.
I'm about to. Don't worry, don't worry. There's two left that Stephanie has sent, and the last one is so far my favorite. This is the second to last so far. And then I may switch us over for a little bit and give us all a break if we want to the live stream that's going on, the big one from Indivisible or No Kings itself that Indivisible is restreaming that everybody else is doing too. I'll put up for a little bit. That way all of us hosts can take human breaks for a second, get some things, drink some food, come back, hang out if you guys want to still. And keep the channels open during the time. We can just hide our screens. I'll maximize and mute us for a little bit
Okay.
so everybody gets to see what's going on. But I have one last picture to share from Stephanie right now. And
Okay, it's not from me. It's from Blue Sky, but
from Blue Sky, but shared by Stephanie because,
yes,
you know,
because
she knows my sense of humor. And she knows how much I enjoy calling these people things that are just male anatomy focused because male anatomy is weak. And so, hey, Ice, go eat a bag of dicks.
Mm. There you
I
go.
hope this one's in Seattle.
That's a good
Oh, it's
one.
in Portland. Portland, no Kings, which is perfect because Dicks is in Seattle.
That's
And you
awesome.
can actually get a bag of Dicks in Seattle. And it's
Oh, okay.
It's actually a hamburger
Oh.
joint, and they make some of the best burgers
That's
and fries.
clever.
You like cannot customize what's on the burger, but they give you like 3 options, and they're delicious, and the fries are amazing. But you walk around, and people are like, "Oh, did you get a bag of dicks today?" I'm like, "Hey, let's go get a bag of dicks for lunch.
That's awesome.
Let's go get a bag of dicks." And so, thank you, Portland, for living up
Yes.
to the shadow of Seattle with
Oh, yeah.
with a giant penis walking around.
And they're really killing it in Portland with the costumes and everything. It's great with the frog costumes and
Mhm.
everything else, because that's how we'll fight back against the authoritarian regime. They just look ridiculous shooting at. I saw the video of them shooting their pepper balls at this guy in a frog suit. I mean, you look very weak doing that, and they look ridiculous. So it's good since you can't shame them. We can embarrass them at least, I think.
Mhm. Yeah. All right. Well, I think with that, as we shame them, we'll switch off for a couple minutes. For us, anyways, we'll give
Okay.
anyone who's here just a little bit of a break. Y'all, please stay with us. I'm going to switch us over to the No Kings stream. And right now, Maya Wiley, President and CEO of the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, is speaking. And they're going through a bunch of speakers there in New York City
Yes.
right now. So we'll see how things progress forward and what feeds come up. And if you have any questions, please ask me in the chat. I'll try and monitor throughout. And then, assuming Kat is still going, we will put some of her stream back up as well so that Houston gets some extra exposure. But look forward to seeing you all on the other side. We may get rid of our caption that says live from Houston.
All righty.
Because we're not actually live from Houston. The Cat is. Our friend Cat is live from Houston. So we'll see you all in a little bit. Let's listen to some great speakers. And if you are here when I come back, I look forward to seeing you. And I look forward to seeing everyone in the chat and discussion here in a little bit.
All right. See you on the other side.
With us.
Of equal opportunity, of equal protection under the law, of a government for the people, by the people. But we know it has never been a promise. It has been a thing that we, the people, have demanded for 250 years. And I say that today because we have a regime trying to tell us that teaching the history of slavery cannot happen. We have a regime that is telling us that the fact that teachers want to teach what they believe they should teach is wrong. We have a regime that is telling us that, by the way, the federal government can try to force states to tell them who can vote and who cannot. That is what we are standing up to say, no, you can't, and no, you won't. Because whether you clean a bedpan or clean the streets, whether you teach a child to learn, or whether you simply just show up every day to take care of your family, you have a right to be here. You have a right to be respected, and nobody can tell you that you don't deserve to be treated like a citizen of this country. And I mean citizen in this way. I didn't ask you for a passport. Citizenship is about showing up. Citizenship is about doing for your neighbors. Citizenship is about recognizing that a love of this country means the perpetual right to demand that it do right, and that it do right by all of us. We have seen a young black man in Chicago thrown to the ground, put in handcuffs, while people called out, but he's a citizen. We have seen a woman outside of a school get thrown down and put in handcuffs. As she said, they don't have a warrant. They won't show me a warrant. They had to release her later. This is journalists, but I'm saying this because these are true stories, and they want them to happen here in New York. We won't let that happen because we are citizens of this city, of this state, and of these United States. And all we say to anybody who listens is we're not asking who you voted for. We're asking what you care about. And if you care about your ability to make a demand on government, if you care about your ability to learn, if you care about your right to be who you are, if you care about your ability to organize a union and have your rights respected, if you think you deserve to have a voice, then you should stand with all of us and say, no kings, no kings, no kings, because we are democracy. We are democracy. Whose city? Whose city? Whose state? Whose state? Whose country? Who are citizens of these United States? What does a citizen look like? All of us. All of us. All of us. We are America, and we won't let you take her.
And what a beautiful note to end on. Thank you all for being here. This is the end of the official No Kings press conference. But I want to give you one last reminder.
It's what tugs at my heart. What kind of future do we want to leave for our children and our grandchildren? We got to fight like hell, y'all, to keep democracy intact for them. Now, we've got a panel of speakers coming up who are going to speak to a lot of the other reasons we're out here today. So without further ado, I want to bring up Catherine Stewart. Catherine is a dedicated certified nursing assistant at Highland and a proud member of SEIU. Catherine is deeply committed to advocating for workers' rights and strengthening her community through her political involvement with SEIU, and she continues to champion treatment, respect, and opportunity for all healthcare workers. Catherine.
Hello, Kansas City! And my SEIU family! So, as he says, my name is Catherine Stewart, and I am a healthcare worker. I've been working at Highland Nursing Home for
over close to 5 years now, and I am a proud member of SEIU. So, you know, our president, which I don't even want to say his name, so I just say president. Your president is supposed to be someone that stands up for everybody, but it's pretty clear to me that he just doesn't want to do that. He only wants to keep his rich friends wealthy and more richer. He does not want to take care of us like he should. Anybody that gets into a position of this kind of power and abuse it does not deserve it. They are abandoning people like us. They slashed the SNAP program, the food stamps. They're trying to double our insurance premiums. We're not having it. Now they mess with Medicaid. We're not having that either. Whether they know it or not, Medicaid is the heart of our country, in our city, in our state. It runs half of our facilities that are running around here. Without that, we would not be standing. I have a son with autism, and I'm telling you, Medicaid came in handy for me as a parent. As a parent of 3 children, it helped me out bringing my children up. And I know right now there's a lot of parents out here that is helping right now to help with your families as well. So while he's trying to take all of this away from us, he doesn't realize what he's doing to himself. God don't like ugly. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm going to continue to fight back. So, when SNAP recipients like my family and your families, they deserve to be respected. They deserve to be brought up. They deserve to be taken care of. So, without that, when we are underhand, what do? Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. And shout out to all the healthcare workers out there today. For real. You know what? I had a thought, y'all, when Catherine was talking. And I know that we're all on one accord today. Solidarity. Not only today, but forever. But let's be real. We got some differences amongst us. I'm a dog lover. It's some cat lovers out there, right? We're my cat lovers. I know we're out here. I think that Andy Reid and the Chiefs should run the ball more. A lot of y'all keep passing it around. The Royals, I think, should go get some pitchers. Y'all probably want some more hitters. We got differences. But we all agree that we all deserve respect, dignity, living wages, access to health care, the ability to eradicate homelessness. We all got a lot in common, more than we do different. Am I right? All right, I just want to put that out there. We can have differences, but I know we're all on one accord. Our next speaker, y'all, is Edgar. Where's Edgar? Palacios. Edgar Palacios. He is a community advocate and organizer and founder of Latinx Education Collaborative and Revolución Educativa. Oh, yeah. 2 organizations committed to advancing equity and representation through education and civic power. He believes that education is the most powerful tool for freedom and justice, and that true democracy begins when every community sees itself reflected in leadership. Let's welcome Edgar up, y'all.
Buenas tardes, Kansas City! Y'all can do better than that. Buenas tardes, Kansas City! My name is Edgar Palacios, and I stand before you as a community advocate and as a father. I believe in the power of representation and in education as one of our greatest tools for freedom and justice. Here, because we know a simple but radical truth. We have no kings. No person, no office, no movement owns this country. Power belongs to the people. El poder le pertenece al pueblo. And that includes us, the families working double shifts, the small business owners, the students that are dreaming bigger than their zip code, and the organizers who keep showing up even when it's hard. We have seen what happens when leaders forget who they serve. But we're here to remind them that democracy doesn't belong to the powerful. It belongs to the people who refuse to give up. Right now, there are decisions being made that harm our communities. When the Department of Education ends support for Hispanic-serving institutions, las universidades que educan y levantan a nuestros jóvenes latinos, that's just not a budget cut. That's a betrayal of our future. When political chaos in Washington shuts down the government and hurts working families, muchas de ellas latinas, it is a sign that power has lost its purpose. And when immigration raids tear through our neighborhoods, separating parents from children, we are reminded when compassion disappears, tyranny takes its place. That's why we are here. Por eso estamos aquí. To say basta, enough. Say it with me, basta. Basta. One more time, basta. Basta. To say our children deserve classrooms filled with trust and possibility, not censorship and fear. To say that our voices matter in Spanish, in English, in every language that freedom speaks. In Missouri, in Kansas City, and across our small towns, we know that representation is not just a number. It's a promise, una promesa de dignidad, esperanza y justicia. When we are seen, when we are counted, when we are at the table, everything changes. So today, as millions march across this country, let's make a promise together. We will not bow to fear. We will not be silent. We will not let anyone erase our history or our humanity. Porque este movimiento no se trata de un partido, se trata del pueblo. Se trata de nuestros hijos, de nuestras escuelas y de nuestro futuro. Say it with me. No thrones. No crowns, no kings, no thrones, no kings, only people courageous, united, and unafraid. Showing the nation what real democracy looks like. Una democracia con corazón, con esperanza y con poder al pueblo.
Thank you, Edgar. At this time, y'all, I want to highlight, because I don't want all the hard work to go unnoticed, but historically, signs have meant a lot in movement. Hold your signs up high. I want to highlight some of the signs I see. Now, I got eyes in the back of my head, but one behind me says, America, girl, you're in danger. That's a good one. One of my favorite, I like my country like I like my whiskey. No ice. Loving it. Grannies for democracy. On point. Due process for all. Let me get, the No Kings, I love you. Let me get one more. Hold that up high. Oh, wow. This one's deep. And we'll hit on this. Trump is Hitler 2.0. When we say that, people think we're just being dramatic, y'all. But what do we know? History will repeat itself if we let it. So shout out to all the signs out there. Thank you for the hard work, the creativity. You got to. Next up, y'all, is Jeff Suchman. He is union president of AFGE Local 1748. Jeff is the representing U.S. Department of Labor employees from Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, and Nebraska. He is
We're
also the
gonna
executive vice president
we're
of the
gonna
National
lower
Council
what's going
of
on the
Field
screen
Labor
here. We
Employees,
have
representing
joined with us
$7,000
is
DOL field
Ellie
employees
Leonard.
across the country.
Welcome. Welcome, my
Hello.
friend. How are you today? How
Good, how
was
are
your
you?
rallies?
It was good. We decided we were going to go to New York, and then I opted for doing a smaller one because I had the kiddos with me. So I was like, New York would be really fun, but I also think about it more, safety more when I'm in a crowd that big with them. So we
Yeah.
opted for Montclair, New Jersey, which is, if anyone knows, is the hometown of Stephen Colbert. So it's a great little town that's like 10 miles from our house. And he wasn't there, I don't think, or I don't know if he was. But there was a lot of like Senator Andy Kim was there, and Mikey Sherrill, who's running for governor, was there, and they all spoke. And then they had like really great like folk bands that remind me of Pete Seeger or Woody Guthrie, just these really great folk musicians who came out, and we were definitely very violent in all of our, beautiful colors and folk music. And they said they're like, wow, I see so many mandolins out in the crowd. What a wild group. So yeah, it was good. It was good. We had a good time.
Oh, let me unmute Tara so she can come back in too. Sorry
Yes,
about that,
please.
No,
Tara.
you're fine.
Welcome.
You're fine. So
Welcome.
how did your kids find the rally?
Good. There's still like, so I have a 12-year-old who's a little bit of an eye roller, so we're working. But I mean, we've been doing, this is not our first rodeo. We've done a few of these. We did the Women's March in DC last November. Like, they know what it means. They know why it's important.
Mm.
Sometimes it feels a little long for them, but I said, you know what, we're going to stay until this time. But they're really great. They made their own signs, and we went to Burger King and got little crowns this morning and made
Oh,
our
that's
No Kings
good.
crowns.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, we had fun. We had fun. There was like dogs running around, and everybody was taking everybody's
Great.
picture, and it was good. We had a good time.
Well, that's the generation that we hope will live in a country worthy of them.
Right.
Really.
Right. Yeah, it was pretty lovely. It was a beautiful day in a beautiful park, lots of fall leaves, and it just felt very happy.
That's
Like, everyone
good.
there felt very happy. So it was
I
good.
wonder what the reaction will be. Will the Republicans still go with this as a hate America rally? I wonder.
It was
Yeah.
it's hard to say that unless they're gonna go find some very specific groups of people to film and like use for their propaganda. Like, you'd be hard pressed. Like, okay, I'm gonna give you an obscure example, but like, my parents shop at a grocery store in Missoula, Montana. The demographic of it is so for older people. It has the very like Tuesday discount feel. It's just like all silver hair, all very slow moving. Everybody's happy and conversations in the checkout. This crowd that I was in of like 4,000 people felt like my mother's grocery store. Like, it was just happy. Nobody had anywhere to be. Everybody was just like, you're
Right.
my family. I mean, I don't know how you can like look at that and be like, wow, violent insurrectionists.
Right.
Like, there was little dogs running around and they were just so happy. I don't know.
Right. Right.
My kids were playing in the leaves. It's just, I don't know.
It's just people trying to have a life in a
Yeah.
country that isn't oppressive.
Right.
Really.
Feels simple. Feels
Right?
logical.
Doesn't it? I don't know. But
Yeah.
that's it. There's enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed, as Gandhi said. And this is really the problem.
Yeah.
They don't have enough and they're sick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just never enough for them. And I mean, we're going to have to make it enough, I guess.
Yeah.
Legally and peacefully.
Yeah.
Here comes
Yeah, like
my
a big
cat.
big thing is there. So we have a governor's race this year. We're one of the few states that has one this year, because I think it's like it's like an odd year for a
Mhm.
governor's race. So we have one, and like a big thing for us here is rent. Like, rent is so silly. Like,
Yes.
we pay here for an upstairs apartment for a family. We pay 3 times what our mortgage was before
Yeah.
we moved here. Like, it's very, I mean, and it's a struggle to like scrape those pennies together and not be late and like, stomach aches on rent day. Like I hate
Oh,
it. I hate it. But like they can do whatever they want right now. And potentially that can be illegal soon, which would be really, really wonderful for like
that would be.
95% of people.
Right. And housing should be a human right in a country
Yeah.
that this rich.
Right.
We should be ashamed. I think that's what I think.
Mhm.
In other countries, it's you have to really work hard to be homeless, and
Yeah.
here it's just part of I guess the cost of
Right.
doing business, and it
Right.
shouldn't be
Well, just
really.
it you should be able to live in the zip code where you work. Like the lowest paying
Yes.
job in your zip code should be able to buy an average place to live in your zip
Right.
code. And
And that
there
right.
should be a balance. That should be an easy like mathematical equation that your county can do that the cost of living has to
You're
match
right.
the
You're right.
lowest wage.
Yes, and that
Yeah.
used to be, and before Reaganomics, when
Hmm.
the income disparity wasn't as wide as it is now, it used to be around 52 times the lowest paid worker the
Hmm.
CEO would make, and now it's over 400. And
Hmm.
you know, it's not that the productivity has gotten any worse. In fact, American productivity is always rising, and this is what drives me insane. And it's just like what Bernie talks about when if the minimum wage kept up with American productivity, the minimum wage would be over $30 an hour
Oh
now.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I did some kind of mathematical problem.
Hmm.
I think it was in that I wrote an essay about like not being still being paycheck to paycheck at my age, which I didn't expect to be. And I did all the mathematics of like minimum wage when I was a kid versus minimum wage now, cost of a house back then, and then accounting for all the inflation and interest and what things cost now. And it's so astronomically different. So like when my parents go, oh, well, we saved this much out of our paycheck, this
Right.
percentage every month, and I said, but look, it's not the same percentage of your
No,
paycheck going to a house anymore. Houses cost 400 times as much, or
that's
not
right.
400 times, like they're 400% of what a
Hmm.
house was. Like college tuition is just
Yeah.
like it makes my stomach hurt because like I have a kid who's in the ninth grade and it's like I don't have any money for
Right.
that
It's
kind of
getting
thing. Like that's
closer to that time
yeah.
where this is going to be a thing. Yes.
Right. And if you looked at what tuition was, I went to the University of Washington. If you looked at what in-state tuition was back then versus what it is now, again, 400 times more,
Yes.
whereas the minimum wage didn't go up at all. So it's pretty ridiculous.
Yes, and I mean that's by design. This is the problem.
Hmm.
This is why we got to get the word out. People need to know this. It used to be that you can go to college in this country without becoming an indentured servant to a
Right,
bank, and
right,
we're not setting youth up for success when we do that. When we send them to college, and they, people are trying to live the American dream, and so they take out loans, and you end up in this trap where you just can't get established now.
right,
And
right,
you're not going to pay it off in how long? And that's why when it's just everything everywhere we look, it's just the right wingers are always dividing us. They're always,
yeah.
well, I don't want to have to pay for your tuition. They say things like that.
Hmm.
Well, you're paying for it anyway, but you want the banks. You just want the
Yeah,
banks to continuously suck on the American people like hosts
right,
from which to suck profit and discard. And that's what,
right,
that's like not conducive to a successful society.
right.
Other civilizations know this. Other societies know
You'd
this.
think, you'd hope. Like
Yeah.
just like interest rates. I just feel like there is a legality with the amount that any business can charge you with interest. Like credit
Right.
cards. Credit cards are like 27% interest. And so you look at something like that or something like your college tuition, and if you just paid it off, like if you had your minimum amount you paid every month, and if there was no interest, you could pay it off in like 6 years, but because there's interest, it takes 30. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Sorry,
Hi,
barking
hi,
in the background.
doggies. They're
Hello,
pissed, Nick.
doggies.
They're really pissed
Yes, they're
because we're all
listening to
pissed.
this. it's a disgrace. And they did
Yeah.
it like the frog in the boiling water, I guess,
I
over
know.
time.
I
And
feel like
they
they didn't. I feel like they just walked up and hit him with a frying pan. You know what I mean? Like
maybe
they're
in a
just
way,
that they're like, okay,
right? That's
okay.
brazen. And
Yeah.
but they have this is the thing though. It's because of propaganda. Make no mistake.
Hmm.
That's why they were able to get away with this for so long, because of the consolidated media, you know, and pouring the bullshit into
Yeah.
people's ears about where their problems are stemming from.
Yeah.
Don't look up, look down. And I hear this too, and I tell the story on my show before. My sister, because I have nieces and nephews that all went to college, and it's a lot of money, like you're saying.
Hmm.
And when my niece and nephew were in Rutgers, she's like, "Oh, if they were dreamers, they'd get a full ride," like she was explaining. And I'm like, "Well, even if that's true, and I don't know if it is,
Yeah.
because she's listening
Mm.
to bullshit."
Yeah.
So I said, even if that's true, you shouldn't be mad at the dreamers. You should be mad at the people making the policy that
Hmm.
sends kids to college without any kind of support. There's no reason
Yeah.
that they should have to pay for college. It used to be free before Reagan.
Hmm.
That's when it all started to unravel. They did this on
Yeah.
purpose. They
Well, and
made
it's
he made the University of California, which was like one of the hallmark schools around the world. He made that. Took away the tuition free, of course,
yeah.
and saying that why would I want to send kids to school who are just going to protest my policies? But
Yeah.
this is
Right.
what it's about. That's what it is. It's
Well,
about.
all it's doing, if you're gonna keep boosting these tuition rates, especially on, you think of like, what is it? The University of Michigan is a public school and it has like one of the highest tuition rates
Wow,
in the US. I mean, if you keep boosting these rates, all it does is it sends kids to other countries to go to college, which
that's
that's what
right.
my daughter wants to do. She wants to go to
Mm,
college in Europe, and it's like
you should.
you're sending the US workforce outside the
Right.
US, and they're
That's
not going to want to
it.
come back. And so,
Right. Right.
but I wanted to go back to what you were saying about like this, the mega base and how they get foiled. Like
Mm,
I think I think for a long time, I think 2020 really screwed it up, but I think for a long time we've been this sort of generation of belonging, like needing this belonging, a sense of belonging. People talk about like this generational
right.
loneliness.
Right.
And then and in certain sects of society, like cults latch onto that. They look for sects of society that go,
Yes.
oh, they're lonely, oh, they need a sense of belonging. I see that they are sitting in the shadows a little bit. And I think they just jumped on that. They jumped on that with their
Yep.
red hats and they're like,
Yep.
be in our
Yep.
club,
Yep.
we have a uniform, you get a hat. But it was that it's very much, I mean, people call it a cult. That is up to people's opinions, but like
It is.
that sense of being a cult, of that going and finding the lowest common denominator and saying, welcome to our club, we'll be your best friend, is
Yeah,
is very cultish. That is a very cultish thing, and that's how
absolutely.
people get, on these Reddit groups and go off and shoot up their schools. Like that's the same kind of thing, but it's like you belong, you're the best of the best, even though we're still hurting you on the side, but you don't know it.
Yep.
You get a hat. We'll give you a free hat. We'll give you. It's. I don't know. It.
No, it's
I.
you're right. This is they get a lot of them get their identity. That's why it's hard to.
Mhm.
It's going to be hard to break them out of it, and because they have already given up so much to be in this
Yeah.
cult. A lot of them have lost friends. They've lost
Right.
family members. And
Yeah.
there's a social contagion to it, because it's a sense of community.
Right.
And you look at these rallies, right? They wear the same clothes. They say the same things.
Mhm.
God help you if fall out of line. And because that's the thing, they're all like rugged individuals. They're not rugged individuals. They're followers. They're all the same. Like
Yeah.
be a rugged individual in a maggot rally, and you'll see what they
Yeah.
got for you.
Yeah.
They'll
Well, it's so much easier to follow than it is to lead, right? Following
absolutely
is comfortable and it's cozy,
Hmm.
and
right.
you don't have to do anything and you don't
Like
have to pay attention.
authoritarianism. That's what there's a
Right.
comfort in that, right? Like
Yeah.
let daddy drive. That's why this is what
Yeah.
drives me nuts with the Republicans when they go, and this is how we have to fight back or push back. when they say, "Oh, daddy's home," they like that whole daddy's home thing,
Yeah.
like daddy's home and he's pissed, he's gonna
It's
take
so
off.
weird.
Yeah, well,
It's
it's authoritarianism. It says yet again that they lack the fundamental
Oh, here.
maturity to function in
What's
a
that?
democracy. Yes, there you go. That's better.
Hey,
But
technology.
right. But that's what they're talking about. They're basically saying they want a king because who needs a daddy, right? You need a daddy when you're a child, when you
I
have
know, but
you have no agency for
isn't
yourself.
it weird though? Like all there's things like that daddy's home. Isn't it weird
Yes.
that everything is like related to that like
Yes.
baby doll sex industry? Like
Yes.
daddy, like
Yes.
I don't walk around talking like that. I'm assuming you guys don't walk around talking like
No.
that. But it's so appealing to a certain group of people. And I'm like,
Yes.
why are we
It's very
there?
sick. They're sick. They need
Yeah,
help.
it's
They
gross.
need to go and get some therapy. I'm not,
Mhm.
hey, I've been in therapy a long time and it
Yeah.
saved my life. So,
Right.
go for it.
Right.
Get help. Stop inflicting your manias on the world, please.
Mm.
And, we might have a shot here because this
Yeah.
is the thing. I mean, look at those so-called young Republicans and their
Those 30-year-old, 40-year-old
right.
young
The
boys,
bullies.
children,
Yes.
whatever we want to call
Just
those
Yeah.
adult
little
men.
mistakes, right? I mean, JD Vance, he did the same thing with another one of these Doge people that had his racist texts came out, and then he resigned. He was like, "Oh, we shouldn't ruin his life for a
Was that
year."
with big balls?
Yeah,
Oh, that was one of the weird
it wasn't
ones.
Big Balls. It was one of the others, but yes, it was one of that crew. But this is at the same time when they're firing hundreds of thousands of Americans. But JD Vance didn't have the same empathy to reach in and save their jobs, right? But just a racist though, because
So it was
yeah.
I was sorry to interrupt you. I was gonna
No,
say it's kind
please.
of funny. So I was doing a little like internet stalking of these young Republican guys, especially the one who looks like he's at a
Oh,
lesbian wedding.
the one
Like
who looks like Leah Delaria. You're
yeah,
talking
yeah, yeah.
about,
So I
yeah.
went and I
Okay.
found it. So his high school graduation was posted on YouTube. You can watch the whole high school
Oh God.
graduation. So I was like, I'm gonna find this guy. And it's in alphabetical order, so you can find him pretty easily. But like it's so funny because they name everybody and they're like with honors, with high honors, with
Uh-oh.
double honors, and then they get to him and they're just like he walks across the stage and they just say
Matt.
his name and then he walks off. And I was like, yep,
This
no
is
honors.
yeah.
This
No,
guy.
of course no honors. He's dishonorable. He's got no honor.
No.
That's why he's attracted to the MAGA cult. Really.
Yeah.
There's something
Because they
there.
told him he was special. Every time
Yeah.
gotta stop telling people they're special because they're just like, really sweet.
Well, the greatest
kidding.
accomplishment was being born white to them. And they kind of get the gaydar thing, like I when I look at them, they all look kind of like closeted.
It just somebody called them the what was it? The Pillsbury Proud Boys. That was a good one. That was a good one. I did not make that up. I can't own that. But
Man.
When you
Yeah.
press their belly, they say Heil Hitler and run away. And
But that is 100%. That's what they look like.
There's
Or
another
they
one.
look
There's
like
a
Happy Patch kids. That's what they,
Yeah.
big fat faces and all. But
yeah. Well, they're just there's. I try not to pick on what people look like,
right.
but
I know.
it is an odd choice for them to be held up as like the faces of like, because they've got a lot of people, I'm assuming, in young Republicans across the nation, and like, you're kind of like, really, you pick those guys to be your like the face? Like they look almost like the one guy, I don't remember his name, but the one guy who looked really strange, he looked like a character from like a Tim Burton movie from the 80s. You know what I mean? Like his face might not have all been totally real. It was a little prosthetic. But I was just like, really, that's the guy you're gonna pick? All right, okay.
Yeah. Well, there's something going on. They need help, and maybe maybe with the passage of time they'll come to their senses. Who knows? But this is what I mean. They get their identity. They're hanging out together. They are obviously getting some satisfaction out of dehumanizing other people because they hate themselves. I mean, you don't have to be Freud to unpack it. This is what we're dealing with. They fundamentally loathe themselves, just like Trump. Somewhere he knows what a loser he is. You know what I mean? He knows that he sucks at business. He knows he's a con man. He knows that he's a fraud, but somewhere in
Yeah.
there, that's why he's so easily triggered by anybody that, you know, criticizes him. Because if
Yeah.
he really believed in himself, you don't behave like that. You know, you just go
Yeah.
like, whatever, let it roll. Nobody,
I think
you know, somebody
confident people are never
right.
famous, right?
Yes.
They're never famous. They don't necessarily need to be rich. They're just fine. It's like these people who are
Right.
striving to be the richest, like
Oh
these
yeah.
Forbes guys. You're
Yes.
like, oh, you have, I don't
And
know. You have,
Elon Musk. I mean, they're all sick people. They're
yes.
sick, and that's
Yeah.
why they should not be in charge of all this wealth. But it's up to the society. You know, there is a society consideration here. You know, not just
Hmm.
about one dude who just wants all the money in the world. I
Right.
mean, okay, that's fine, that's wonderful, but you don't get to have that because it hurts society. So we have an
Well, it's just,
obligation
yeah.
to strip them of their wealth, I think, at this
Well, it's
point.
just, yeah. That kind of wealth has to be like its own mental health
Yes.
category because again, you could take every penny, you could give Elon Musk $1 billion to live on for the rest of his life and all of his 14 children.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of money that they would get every single day till the day they died is like more than most people make in like 10 years. And that would be
Yeah.
every
Mm,
single day. You know
right.
what I mean?
Right.
Like there's just the why you would sit on that and continue to make
Yes.
new companies out that it never benefit people in need. Not a single
Oh
one
no.
of his rocket ship companies is on Tesla, and nothing is benefiting a single person who is in your average wealth range, right?
Right.
It's
No.
all the upper echelon. And so, yeah, I feel like that is its own chapter in a psych book
Yes.
is people who make that kind of money.
Well, and the way he behaves, just somebody that jumps around with a chainsaw, firing people, somebody
Right,
with that kind of I mean, you should be embarrassed to behave like
right.
that. And then the idiots cheering that too have their own
Yeah,
psychological damage,
the
really.
sycophant nature
Uh-huh.
of this entire like decade is something that needs to be
Yes.
studied because that has blown my mind. Like people who like take Ted Cruz, like a guy whose father was,
Oh God, yeah.
reamed by Donald Trump and he was offended and he
Oh,
fought
his
against him to
wife.
like
His
total
wife.
yeah, like flip or like JD Vance and his wife is an
Oh God.
her immigrant family, these are and they're fawning over somebody who's gonna die soon, who
Yeah.
has no political background, who has bankrupted everything, who's connected to the biggest
Yes.
sex offender in American history. Like, what? Where's the draw? I don't get
Right.
it.
I
I
don't
don't
get
get
it
it.
either. That's the thing I don't understand too. That's some every now and then when, just us talking here, it will hit me
Hmm.
too. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I do have those moments where I'm like, what?
I think
That
it's just
guy? That
pride. I
fucking
think
guy,
it's
right?
just pride because at one point it all sounded logical and it's so far in the rearview mirror, but they have such pride because they've had their friends and family around them
Right.
going, don't do this, don't do
Yes.
this. And they have to admit defeat. And I just feel like that we're so prideful as a country now that we can just never do it. So we will just walk off a cliff.
That's true. That is true. Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole where this asshole can't apologize. He's never done anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They asked him, Have you ever asked God for forgiveness?" And he said he couldn't come up with a single thing. How do
He's
you?
like, I
I
don't know.
mean, no, he said,
Yeah.
"No,
Like,
there's nothing to forgive." I mean, this is who we're dealing with, a very sick
Yeah.
person. Yeah,
even as someone who doesn't believe in God, like
Mm-hmm.
right.
I at least have things that I know that I've done wrong in my life.
Yeah,
Like
Right.
I
everybody
might
does.
have questions for God because I think there's some really big questions that need to be answered, especially living through this time period.
Yes.
And like Lawrence Winterman, helped co-founder of Banner and Backbone, he said the other day was during Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah was sort of like God has to atone to me this year. Like the Book of Atonement isn't
Oh,
for us; it's for
right.
God. God needs to
Mm-hmm.
atone to us because there's a lot of shit that
Oh yeah.
free will wouldn't account for if there was a just God.
Oh
Like
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and
Well,
yeah,
God is a
I don't
spirit.
think
I mean,
so.
we can't. I
I'm not
don't.
going to argue about religion
Yeah.
for folks because
We'll
I
do.
actually talk about it quite often on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I
Oh
don't need to
yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, I
But
wish
like,
they were Christian. That's all I say. Is that I really
yeah,
do wish they were the Christians they pretend to be,
Right.
because we
But I
wouldn't
yeah.
be
mean,
How
arguing
much
about
better of a
healthcare.
nation would we
yeah.
actually be if they were the Christians they pretended to
Right.
be? Like
Right.
if all of them were Jimmy Carters
Forget
instead
it.
of Donald Trumps
Exactly.
or Nick
Exactly.
Fuentes.
But if
There
you
you
look
go.
at the like basic, and I say this as a Christian, if you look at the basic tenets of most religions and society without a religion, it's all the same
Right.
stuff. Like
Well,
you're not
yeah.
supposed to steal from people. You're not supposed to push old ladies into traffic. You're not supposed to
You're
eat
not?
your children. You're not supposed
Right.
to,
Or
you know what I mean?
sleep with your children, or
Right.
like.
Don't like evade paying your taxes. Like it's all pretty common sense, and like the golden rule is in every religion. And so it's like if you have no religion, those rules probably still apply to you, and they're
They
not
do.
based on religious tenets. They're just based on laws and
Yeah.
like
And
normal
human. Yeah.
societal
Just
interaction, right?
moral tenets.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Treat people the way you want to be treated. That's, as you
right.
said, the golden rule. That's basically it. And
Mm-hmm.
we have that built in because we're interdependent and we live together. We need each other. We're a interdependent species. Not every species has the ability to feel other members of its species pain. You know, that's, I know Nick has a snake. They don't have that part of their brain that has that, where they're not
Hmm.
thinking about, gee, I wonder if Bob the snake is okay with this, or they don't
Yeah,
think
like
about that.
Bucky doesn't feel love, or my snake's name is Bucky, the Slither Soldier Barnes.
Aw,
He doesn't feel love, and that's totally okay.
that's the
But
way he
he
was
has,
made. Yeah.
yeah, it's the way he was made. He has an instinctual connection to us, though, because he
Yes.
instinctually knows that we provide food and that we're not harmful to him.
Right.
So he displays affection to us in ways that we think are affection.
Right.
And like, yeah, we need to reteach sort of like empathy and
Yeah.
understanding and get away from this individual
Yes.
exceptionalism, because I don't, as much as the idea of American exceptionalism is originally based in like supremacist views in ways,
Mm,
there are also very good tenets of the idea of being exceptional, and it's okay to think of ourselves and strive to be exceptional, knowing that
yeah.
we have flaws. Like, if we're willing to strive for the exceptionality of America and not think that it's like just inherently built in and just exists, I
Yes.
think we were lied to and told like, hey, exceptionalism just sort of exists. You're exceptional because you're American,
Yeah.
not America is exceptional because of you. And
Right.
that would, I think, be a different powerful message.
Well, I think that they have taken this American exceptionalism and they have screwed it and bastardized it and manipulated it, as they always do, into what they want it to be. Meaning, like, I got mine, sucks to be you. Like, oh
Hmm.
well, I can. That,
Yeah.
like, they changed the definition of the American dream from you too can have a decent middle class life to you too can be a billionaire and then you can fuck over everybody else too and not
Right.
give a shit. So, but
But
American
yeah.
exceptionalism used to be understood as the fact that we are a nation of immigrants, that we attract
Mm-hmm.
the best of the best from all over the world who to come here and pursue their dreams and opportunity and whatnot. And that's really what it was understood to be, but they've changed it into, like, you could be a
Mm-hmm.
dick. We're assholes now. We're just, you know what I mean? Everything is like, America's like an asshole now. I mean, as Republicans in charge, Trump is an asshole. He's not.
He's always been an asshole.
He's the
This is not
weakest
new.
bitch. Exactly. Just weak. Just being a bully. He thinks that that's strong, and that's, of course, the
Yeah.
weakest thing in the playground, of course. But yeah, I mean,
I just feel like there's a lot of logical. I mean, you can go with the cliche, don't bite the hand that feeds you, right? Like all these billionaires are at the top biting the hand of everything that feeds into their $1 billion. They're getting rid of like the entire immigration system that feeds America that creates industry, that like does everything that they don't want to do. If you think of like the pyramid of the billionaire at the top, if you take away every other level of
Right.
that pyramid, they come crashing down. Like there's logic to having these groups of people in these industries and these hardworking things that they're getting rid of completely, which is going to collapse their
Oh
economy.
God, yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly. Who's going to buy your shit, you know? But and that's why we have to redefine not just American exceptionalism or take it back. Like American exceptionalism used to be understood because we were the only country founded on an idea, really, the idea of happiness and the Enlightenment principles of e pluribus unum and liberty, equality, democracy, you know, things like that. It wasn't inherited wealth, and it really is a unique system in world history. So, and it's something that we need to, you know, fight for and get back, I believe. So, I mean, and so does everybody out there in the streets today. So
I think we wrote that down though on a piece of paper and we're like, we're built on this. But then a lot of other countries went out and actually did that.
yes,
And we didn't do it. So like you look at France, and yes, there, you know, a lot of people have problems with socialism. I personally do not have problems with socialism,
me
but
neither.
like the idea that they shut everything down so people can go home and have lunch with their families, they pay them a wage, they cover all the things that we pay extra every month. Like somebody I was telling somebody that we had my daughter had gone to the hospital last year and we ended up paying like $1,000 out of pocket, and they're like, oh, so your insurance didn't cover it? And I'm like, no. And they're like, wait, how much insurance do you pay every month? And I told them how much we paid every month. They're like, so what are you getting? And I was like, that is a fantastic point. So
it's like car insurance too.
Yeah, right. Like you still end up paying for everything, even though you're paying for everything. And so it's like, yeah, we wrote that down on a piece of paper and we put it in museums and it's in the history books, but like places like France actually did those things for their people. Like they actually made sure, places like Sweden and Finland, like where their societies are completely cared for. And here we go, oh, cared for. Oh my gosh, that's like a nanny state.
That's what they say, right?
Yeah,
nanny state.
No, you can't care for your people. That's a nanny state. No, they literally have enough in the bank. Their kids can go to any college they choose. They can get a great education. They are fed. Their homelessness rates are like rock bottom. And they have a greater, like they get better sleep than we do.
Yes.
They have healthier birth outcomes than we do. Like they just don't have this history of having this, you know, founding fathers and this. We'd have a very glorified history, but a lot of it is like it's on paper. But do we actually do it?
No,
I don't. You know, it's debatable.
You're 100. It's 100% correct. We have never lived up to our founding whatever principles or promises because of racism, honestly, and also, and in my point of view, and also the fact that we have compromised with conservatives just all along the way, and compromised to evil, really, because all of these compromises, the compromise of 18, whatever it was, 17, I have to look up the exact, and things where things like that, where you know, where people were considered 3/5 of a human being and things like that. Like you're compromising with evil, with basic evil to keep human beings in bondage. That's what, you know, it's always been a compromise against.
Look how long it took Native Americans to be U.S. citizens.
Exactly.
Like, let's pay attention to, they didn't even get to be U.S. citizens until recently, historically speaking. And then there's always like the tiny font at the end of every, you know, amendment or whatever that still keeps people from getting the thing that they need to do. So for like the Native Americans, they didn't become citizens until, what was it, 1920? It was like fairly recently. It was not a long time ago. And then they actually didn't get the right to vote until several decades after that. And so there's always that tiny font in these documents that says, if you're white and a male, then
right. Well, that's it. Right? That's the given, right?
It's
all
the tiny
men.
white male
my side has received a lot of benefits that we probably don't deserve. That said, I'm not the type of person that wants to take away everybody else's benefits just because they have them now too. I want everybody to have what I have. Like, I shouldn't be the most equal out of all of you. Like it's
equal.
an unequal system. I shouldn't be the most of anything. Like I don't deserve it because I inherently am not better in any way than either of you. Like I didn't earn it just by being born. That's fucking bullshit. But we're fighting against the mentality of people who look like me or somewhat like me. Like, yeah, but I was born this way, so I'm owed this because my forefathers made this country or whatever. My forefathers helped this country too. And have
well, there'd be no forefathers without foremothers. So, you know,
yeah,
there
and
you
my
go.
foremothers helped make this country, and my forefamily helped make this. Like,
and what did it
we've
take
been
to
here
build this
since
country?
beginning.
Like, who did we bulldoze in order to make this country? Right along the way.
We genocided an entire civilization to make this country. So maybe it's okay that white people, for once, like this big balloon of rights and freedom, it's not a pie that gets smaller and smaller and smaller as everybody else gets more. It's a balloon that slowly inflates, and we get more and more and more and more and more. Because this big old Star of David on my arm, about 100 years ago now, would have excluded me from coming into this country, and now we have people who are trying to exclude other people from coming into this country. We have fascists who are Jewish. We have fascists who are Christian, Catholic, atheist, all of the above. If you're a fascist, you're a fascist.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter what religion, they just use the religion.
Well, that's Stephen Miller. He's a disgrace to his entire family.
That penis of a man.
He really is.
I call him the toe thumb.
He just looks like one.
He does.
Hold on. Let me get up that picture.
Hold on.
Let me get her again. This is for you, Stephen.
You don't have a shirt on.
This is for you, my friend. My hateful friend who I do not enjoy from Portland.
He's a sociopath. This guy.
Oh my God, he's the worst.
Even as a young
and for
person.
somebody who had so much privilege growing up.
Well, there you go. He's
fuck
sick.
you, man.
I love the comparison to the. Oh, there we go.
Yes.
Eat a dick, Stephen. Eat a dick. It kind of looks like you too. Look at that. We see the receding hairline pulling back, and
can you believe he was like balding in the 10th grade? I mean, that's rough. I'd be angry too.
I mean, evil does that to you. So I knew a kid growing up who was going gray by high school, but he didn't turn out to be an asshole.
Right.
He doesn't want to kill everybody.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
Steven,
he's probably an
come on.
artist. No, I like the comparison to the rectal polyp. I think that was my favorite, and it was the most accurate. Have you seen that one, Tara? The side by side with Stephen Miller and the rectal polyp?
Oh, I haven't, but it sounds.
Oh, look it up. It's really accurate, and like
sounds like
somebody
the stuff
was
of
very
nightmares,
wise.
really.
Yeah.
But yes, but accurate. Jeez, I mean, his family survived the Holocaust. His grandmother. I'm just trying to find it. If it was his grandmother, his great grandmother. But they fled the pogroms of Belarus, and they came here and under asylum laws to start their life after fleeing the Holocaust. And now this scumbag is trying to pull the ladder up behind him. I mean, it's how do you sleep at night, Stephen Miller? Him and his wife, the two of them. And Stephen Miller, as somebody who is Jewish, right? I'm not me. I mean, I'm talking about him. He was notorious for sending around white supremacist literature to coworkers and things like that, like saying, "Oh, you got to check this out. You got to read this." Like, what's this?
I just picture all these people when they die and they go into the afterlife, like their grandparents just meeting them and just slapping them across the face. What the hell was that?
While you're talking about people getting slapped in the face, we're just going to put up this picture of a kava bag with Monopoly money in it for no reason at all, other than a ham-faced homan may or may not have accepted
I
a bribe
want that video. I want it
in
so
a bag.
badly.
Yes.
In a bag from kava.
That is amazing. That's a great sign.
That is the best sign.
JD Vance doesn't know anything about that. I don't understand your question.
It's amazing that we have seen these things.
Your question.
We're
Seth
better.
Douglas handled that. I gotta give him props, dude. And at the very end, when JD, he's like, "All right, I asked you a question, you didn't answer the question, and
he hung up on him.
my left-wing rabbit hole. Thank you so much for your time. And then you just hear JD Vance go, no, and then it cuts. And I was like,
that's how you have to treat them.
That's what we should be doing all the time.
Exactly right.
Welcome, everybody. Shane Urick has joined the chat and the live.
Welcome, Shane.
Shane Urick of the Firebrand Project and Banner and Backbone. Welcome, buddy. Glad you're back in. See you in your studio. How'd your rally go after you left us?
It was phenomenal, man. San Diego, we were the 5th largest, I believe, at the first No Kings in the country. So we had a big legacy to live up to. And I mean, we started walking, and when I was leaving, the line was still coming out of the origin point, and it had probably been easily 30-40 minutes. It was astonishing. I mean, it just goes to show you that we're fed up, dude. Like it's not it's the numbers are going to be nuts. The first time there was not a lot of younger people. My observation this time was that there was just as many young people as there was older folks, middle-aged folks. You had high schoolers that were there, and the energy was just entirely different. You had bands playing as they marched down the street. It was like being at like Mardi Gras. I mean, it was just, there was so much positivity. And if this is what terrorism is, according to Stephen Miller, then holy shit, then the world should be a phenomenal fucking place. If this is what terrorism is, because it just goes to show, I think, that and I was telling my dad this as we walked, they've entirely lost control of the narrative. They have no control over the narrative anymore. The desperation is fucking obvious. Like they can't, they're like, this is a American hate day. I one of the pictures I posted is, I just thought it was so telling. And you have, I'm standing there taking these photos, and you have like hundreds of American flags just passing the USS Midway, as you see this thousands of people marching down along the harbor. And you just have this Antifa fortress that has been there to educate people on the Antifa values of the United States of America, and the Antifa war that we fought to protect the world from fascists.
That's right.
So, but you just see this big aircraft carrier and all these American flags, and there's no one who gets to say that this is not patriotic. It was peaceful. It was positive. And, I think we see that all over the country. And more so, this is one of those things where they don't have the narrative. They've tried and tried and tried and pushed and pushed and pushed, and it doesn't work. The lies don't work. They've had the government shut down for this is the 18th day, which is now the third. It's the third longest shutdown, which means Trump now owns the longest shutdown in American history. And now he also owns the third longest shutdown in American history. So, he's already 2 of the top 3, and I think people are just sick of it, man. And I do believe this is just another nail in the coffin. The fact that they're shooting live ammunition, live rounds, live HE rounds from a United States destroyer at the coast of California, which will be going over the I-5 freeway, which is one of the busiest civilian corridors of people commuting to LA from San Diego and vice versa, and conducting a amphibious military invasion drill at Camp Pendleton on the same day that we have a No Kings protest. Is just such a pathetic display of intimidation that, on top of that, they're making all of these Marines do an amphibious invasion, and they're not getting fucking paid. Like, these guys have to be fucking pissed. Like if
Right.
I'm
Well, let's be honest. They are being paid. Military pay itself, base pay, is not something that tends to go away. That like that's sort of one of those that it's sort of like always, because the Defense Authorization Act for military pay is separate from our standard budget more
oh,
often
really?
than not.
Okay.
The incidentals, however, are not being paid, and that's really important. That's really important. Those are the housing incidentals, which gives you housing allowance and food allowance so that you can actually pay for your homes and people can actually, eat. It also means that their travel pay allowances or hazard pay allowances or anything that is not base standard pay does not have to be paid right now, and probably isn't. They may not even be getting their retirement paid into unless they're doing that. And that might be paused or going down because those are based on US stocks and bonds and the amount and those prices, and could even be based on crypto at this point. Who knows?
Right.
Because you never
Yeah.
know with our fucking government. And I do want to just point out the picture that I have up next to me on the screen for all of you. It does say grab him by the blank, but I'm going to fill that in with grab him by the ball sack because it looks like he's tucking a ball sack into his chin and into that collar nice and tightly, and we're just looking at a taint going up to that orange asshole he calls a mouth.
Right.
Spews
That's it.
shit every day and takes up air. So, and
well, I like to call it his lie hole, not really mouth. It's true though. That's his lie hole.
It is. I mean, he masticates all over the
lies
place.
come out of there. That's it. Just lies.
The guy's brain is fucking mush. He met with Zelensky yesterday, and his rhetoric around Ukraine was very positive for once. He's like, we're going to give him tomahawks. Zelensky got to him. And the guy I watch on YouTube, he's a Ukrainian YouTuber. He talks to the Ukrainian forces on the ground. He knows the commanders. He knows the people. And he does all the location of events. He's very credible. And he does daily reporting from Ukraine. And he always jokes that it's whoever talks to Trump that gets to program his brain prior to the meeting.
Yeah, the last person. That's what they say. The last person to talk to him.
Yeah, so Putin called him the day before Zelensky came, and he had a firmware reset, a reboot. And now he's back to saying that Ukraine needs to make a deal. They're not going to get tomahawks. They canceled the long-range weapons shipment. And so, I mean, it's just like the guy is literally so fucking, his brain is not there. He has no fucking opinions. He's
dumb as fuck, and and I always say, how much longer are we all going to enable this? He's a moron. He doesn't know he has no grasp of history, much less reality, but he's batting the whole world around like a cat toy.
Yeah. Stephen Miller wants to be king. He's not going to let Trump go anywhere as long as he can. And I've said this before. Nick knows that I say this a lot, but it's the very, if JD Vance becomes president, Stephen Miller loses his power. So Stephen Miller is going to do absolutely everything he can to go and keep Trump in power. He wants him to be king because as long as Trump is in charge, Stephen Miller's in charge because he has no fucking idea what's going on. You saw Admiral Halsey, who was in charge of the United States South American military forces. He was forced to step down by Hegseth. And there's Reuters reporting they had interior sources basically saying that there had been massive tension between him and Hegseth. And there was discussions on whether he would be fired the day before. And then he announced that he would be stepping down the next day. Stephen Miller really, really, really wants to start a war with Venezuela because he really, really wants to declare martial law and suspend elections. So he, clearly Admiral Halsey does not want to put his troops in harm's way. He does not want to create a conflict where it's not necessary. And he is doing what any good flag officer would do and protect his men. And Hegseth and Stephen Miller have no interest in doing that. They are trying to bait a conflict. And we see that in every aspect. Stephen Miller, in all his rhetoric, it all goes back to the language he uses and how they're trying to say this is an anti-America rally. That's intentional. DSPM 7 declares anti-American as a act of terrorism, domestic terrorism. So it goes to their language. And
Right.
what is so important about today is that we're showing up and we're clearly not fucking terrorists. We are clearly just saying remove the pedophile from office. And let's if we can afford, I saw a great sign today and it's like, if we can afford to bomb schools, we can afford to fund them.
Yeah,
It's that
perfect.
fucking simple. It's not even the money is going to the wrong fucking place. It's so obvious. It's so ridiculous. And if we're so wealthy, if we're such a powerful country, if we have all this money, why are we poor? Why is this
Right.
happening? And I think this is what No Kings is showing, is that we all fucking see it, dude. We see it. Everyone sees it. You're not, and just to circle back, because I know I'm on a rant, but to close it out, it's about the narrative is something they've lost entirely, and they're desperate and they are going for anything they can get. And I think after today, when the numbers come out, I think they're going to blow the anticipated numbers out of the water. Just looking at these pictures and these videos from all over, I mean, we're going to be well past the expectation. And you know what? I'll be interested to see what they say.
Right.
Legacy media, the New York Times sent out their newsletter. There wasn't a fucking peep about the protests on the front
Are you
page.
kidding me? Oh my
So,
God.
I'm like, clearly legacy media is going to do everything they can to downplay the scale of these protests. But, reporters better ask them, and I'm interested to hear what they say, because we're fucking over it. That's what No Kings is showing me.
Hey guys, I'm gonna hop off, but thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. I think I have to run too, actually. So it's been a wonderful time hanging out on No King's Day today,
Yeah.
and very nice to meet you, Shane. And
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to see
yeah,
Yeah, Tara and Ellie, before you hop off, where can people help you find your work, support you? I think we're going to close out here too. We've been going for just at 3 hours. I'm going to play one more video while everybody else starts dropping off. I'm going to play the speech from Senator Raphael Warnock.
Okay.
That was happening in Atlanta to close out the show. But before we do that, though, Tara, Ellie, can you give, and then Shane, everyone, where they can find you guys and support your work?
All right, I'll go first. And youtube.com/cfchannel/Tarabuster is my YouTube channel. I write for Political Voices Network. That's on Substack. And on my own Substack, please follow my Substack at Tarabuster at substack.com. I'm trying to grow that. And thank you so much for all your support. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, thanks for being with us, Tara.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's good to see your face.
Yes, you too. You too.
So I'm not as techie as everybody else. So I am still learning how to do the restreaming thing. So I probably am not showing up at the top, but you can find me on Substack at the Panicked Unpaid Writer, or just my name, Ellie Leonard. And then I'm pretty much everywhere else on all the socials at Red Pencil Script. That's my work handle. So I just use that for everything. So Red Pencil Script. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ellie. And I'll help you next time too, so that we can get you all set up.
I'm a lost
I will. I'm the banner and
Also-
backbone IT guy sometimes. So
I have to say to Dean Blundell before I go, I have to say go Mariners, because I know he's really sad about the Blue Jays. we've been hopping on each other's DMs going, sorry, buddy.
I'm so conflicted on who should win this year.
Okay,
Between the
let
two
me
of them.
plead my case really quickly before I hop off. I love the Blue Jays. I was a huge Joe Carter fan as a kid. I grew up in the Northwest. Seattle is very much like an adoptee of Canada and vice versa. Like, we're just all these little coastal oceany places. However, the Mariners are the only team in the major leagues that have never been to a World Series. They are the only team. We are absolutely the underdogs. We're very used to like blowing it at the last minute, which could happen tomorrow or the next day. So it's very exciting to like at least have a chance to go to the World Series. So anyway, that's me pleading my case. So okay, I'll hop off. Talk to you
All
later,
right.
guys.
All right.
Thank
I'll
you
see you
so
later,
much,
Ellie. All right.
Thank you
See you later,
so
Ellie.
much,
All
Tara.
right, guys.
Appreciate you both.
Yes, I'm just figuring out how do I actually disconnect here, but
Uh,
okay.
top, yeah, you.
Oh, there we
There's a
go.
button in the
Leave.
top. Yeah,
All right,
leave, and
guys. I'll be listening.
sounds great.
I'll see you
Thanks,
later.
Tara.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, for
And
those of you
Shane.
who just arrived here, I was able to pop in at the end. I'm glad I was able to get here. I did just get back from a protest downtown in San Diego. But my name is Shane. I am one of the contributors here at Banner and Backbone. I am Nick's co-pilot for the Palin Talk that we do every Monday. And you can find me at the Firebrand Project, where I post weekly articles. I also do several different shows with a lot of different collaborators that we're growing. I've got one with Walter Ryan and Arturo Dominguez that we're now doing on Fridays. I have the weekly and daily Firebrand Report where we touch on daily news and do a quick analysis. I've got a super exciting new show that I can announce here that will be happening on Wednesdays with John Oliver, a composer and writer from Canada who is super talented. And so we'll be doing the dialogue every Wednesday. So I'm excited to announce
I'd love to
that.
come on that as a
man. No, for sure. You
learned
and him would get
composer.
along. He's written 2 symphonies, dude. It's fucking
I've written the first I have written and recorded the first movement of a symphony.
That's so cool. Yeah, you and him will definitely have a lot to talk about on there as well.
Oh yeah.
But come and find me over at the Firebrand Project. It's a good place to hang out. We love to talk about it. We're trying to change the narrative in America, and we do it together. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for supporting Banner and Backbone. Thank you for supporting all of our contributors, and thank you for supporting Nick, who put all this together today. So thank you all very much.
Yeah, thanks, Shane. Appreciate it. And everyone, stick with us for the last couple minutes. We're going to play I'm going to put up here on the screen the Raphael Warnock speech. I have not listened to it yet, so I don't know what it includes, but I know Senator Warnock is a powerful figure, and I want to hear his voice and what he has to say and tell us, and see what the Democratic Party is putting out there. What leaders in the Democratic Party can look like, and what maybe they're saying today as we tell Donald Trump and this fascist regime, no kings, no tyrants. That's not what we are. That's not who we are, and that's not what we're about. So we're going to stream this final little bit here from Senator Warnock, and then close it out. You can all find me either here on Banner and Backbone or on my own publication, Sick of This Shit Publications, where I do my poetry, my chronic illness discussions, and other pieces along those lines, and bringing out a little bit more of the creativity than just all the social and civic side. So join me there, but I'm going to hand it over now to Senator Warnock and have him give it away for Live from Atlanta. A little bit behind live now, but slightly live from Atlanta. We are putting on Senator Warnock, and I look forward to seeing you all again here on our next Banner and Backbone broadcast. I will close it out after this speech just to say goodbye and wrap everything up. Shane, you're welcome to stay with me. I'm going to hide our screens off and mute us for now, and give it away to our secondary screen. So thank you again, everyone who has shown up. There are over 700 of you in the Banner and Backbone live stream right now. There's over 200 of you on the Political Voices Network in Substack. We have over 150 with Stephanie Wilson. So before we switch over to the final bit, is also do not forget to go support our other great contributor today, Stephanie Wilson, who came on for a while. She helped bring out a bunch of the posts and links that got used today. for the blue sky comments, and for all the pictures of the go tell ICE to eat a dick out of Portland, all the great overhead shots of the different cities. So Stephanie Wilson, thank you so much for that, as well as for the recording with the poem from I want to make sure Reggie Gibson this morning, poet laureate out of Lexington, Massachusetts, and poet laureate of Massachusetts, which is freaking incredible. Gave a powerful, powerful poetic speech this morning that we've aired twice on here. So please come back for the rewatch. It's one of the first things you'll see. And then let's close it out, like I said, with Senator Warnock. And give follows and subscribes to everyone who's been on. We'll post the show notes after with a recap. Probably won't put much in terms of show notes physically because there's a lot of it that came out of this, but there'll be links to different pictures, to some of the things that I've gotten from contributors throughout the day, from friends. If you have photos, send them over to Banner and Backbone in a DM. If you have videos, send them over to Banner and Backbone in a DM, and we'll get them posted throughout the week. Let us know if you want them credited for you or not. And again, happy No Kings, everyone. Thank you for showing up and doing your civic duty today. Thank you for saying no to a tyrant. And thank you for standing up united. As a veteran, I appreciate it. I appreciate seeing the care and the love and the commitment and the patriotism from every single American that was able to go out today, and every single non-American who joined them too. Everyone around the world and in the US, thank you for joining us. Thank you for standing up and letting us know we are not alone and that we do not have kings in America. So thanks again, everyone. And let's hand it over here to Senator Warnock.
Well, hello, Atlanta. I said, hello, Atlanta. God bless all of you. Thank you. All right, y'all stop that. This is not about me today. This is about us. This is about the first three words of our charter document. That is our covenant. That is our creed. Say it with me. We the people. Come on, say we the people. We the people. Say no kings. No kings. No kings in America. We the people. Thank you all so much for being here in this moral moment in America. In these defining days of our democracy. This is what democracy looks like. It is so important for you to be here, and I don't mind the protests. I don't mind them at all, because this is what democracy looks like. And we are here today to ensure that we are always able to stand up and make sure our voices are heard. Are you ready to make sure voices are heard in this moral moment? And so I heard y'all were having a rally, and I had to drop by. I am much encouraged, and I've got great hope because of the massive turnout that we are seeing all across our country, in 50 states, in 2,700 cities, in red states and blue states. The people united shall never be defeated. But it is especially heartening and significant that we gather in Atlanta, Georgia, the hometown of a great American, Martin Luther King Jr. I'm proud to serve not only as your senator, but as the pastor of Dr. King's church, Ebenezer Baptist Church. And Dr. King said, we will have to repent in this generation, not only for the violent actions and vitriolic words of the bad people, but because of the appalling silence and indifference of the good people. Are you ready to raise your voice? And so it's so important in this moment that we stand up. It is so important that we make sure our voices are heard. I'm coming to you, brother. I promise you I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. Give me a moment. I'm coming for you. I promise. I promise you I will. Because I'm on your side. I agree with the humanity of all people. I agree with the humanity of Palestinians, of Israelis, of children on all sides of the track, of Ukrainian children, red, yellow, brown, black, or white, young and old, rich or poor, gay or straight, because we are all God's children and we're standing up on this moment. I'm deeply concerned about what's happening in our country. I heard an American president stand up the other day and say to generals in our military that we've got to stand up, he said, against the enemy within. Listen to me. I don't care what your politics are today. I mean that. If you are an American citizen, you should be deeply concerned. And I know you are. That's why you're gathered here today. We should all be deeply concerned about an American president who stood in front of our military and said that the real concern is the enemy within. They are trying to divide us so that they might rule us. But we unite with one voice, Democrats and Republicans, red, yellow, brown, black, and white, and saying together, no kings in America. Are you ready to fight for our American nation? And so what we're witnessing right now, this is what we're witnessing. We're witnessing the separation of families. We're witnessing awful actions by ICE agents who are masked, showing up in communities all across our country. Imagine this, agents of the government flying in Black Hawk helicopters into Chicago, rappelling down an apartment building in the middle of an American city, literally separating black people from brown people. I'm a preacher, but I have to say this, what the hell? Is happening? And all of us have to be concerned because this is what Martin Niemöller, a pastor who lived during Hitler's Third Reich, he said, first, they came for the trade unionists and I did not speak because I was not a trade unionist. They came for the socialists and I did not speak because I was not a socialist. They came for the Jews and I did not speak up because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was nobody left to speak up. When we speak up for our neighbor, we speak up for ourselves. When I stand up for your family, I stand up for my family. When I stand up for your children, I stand up for my own children. And that's why I'm standing up in this moment and I'm saying as a United States Senator that you must restore the tax credits of the ACA because all of God's children deserve health care. Atlanta, you have my promise. I'm going to stand up on this issue. Because Atlanta is the city of the CDC, and I want to thank our CDC workers for fighting for us, for standing up for us, for keeping us healthy. CDC is not the enemy. CDC is not a hazard to our health. Robert F. Kennedy is a hazard to the health of the American people, and he's got to go. And so let's stand up in this moment. I know that it is painful. I don't take any of my votes lightly. We need to reopen the government and extend health care. We don't have to do one or the other. We can do both at the same time because we're America. And so isn't it interesting that the folks who have taken health care from 15 million Americans, the folks who are raising your health care premiums, have you opened up the portal to see that your health care premiums are doubling, tripling, quadrupling in order to give a tax cut to billionaires? And now the same folk who are taking your doctors away are now trying to doctor the match by engaging in gerrymandering, by trying to squeeze your voices out of the democracy. There's a word for that. It's called fascism. And so in this moment, let me say to you, do not give in to those who are trying to weaponize despair. They are trying to convince you that they have already won. And if they convince you that they have already won, then you lose your fight. But you must never lose your fight. You must never lose your courage. You must never give up your voice, because your voice is your human dignity, and your human dignity is connected to your destiny, and our destiny as an American people. And so I'm going to fight for your health care, because the health of our democracy is tied to the health of your families. Long before I came to the Senate, I came to the United States Capitol not as a senator, but as an activist pastor leading Ebenezer Baptist Church, because I remembered as Republicans were trying to cut health care, remember in 2017, I remember the King's words that of all the injustices, inequality in health care is the most shocking and the most inhumane. And so I showed up in the Capitol long before I represented you as a senator, fighting for your health care. And I said in 2017 to our elected representatives that a budget is more than a fiscal document. A budget is a moral document. Show me your budget, and I'll show you who you think matters and who does not. I said in 2017 that if this budget, which would cut the people's health care in order to give billionaires a tax cut, if this budget were an EKG, it would suggest that our elected representatives have a heart problem and are in need of moral surgery. And so I showed up in 2017 to perform moral surgery on those who allegedly represented us, but were trying to take our health care. I'm saying to you that when you show up on a Saturday morning like this, let me tell you what you're doing. You are the moral surgeons in America who are trying to heal our country. Heal us of the divisions. Heal us from the hate. Heal us from the bigotry. Heal us from the short-sighted, craven politicians who would literally hear 30 and 40-year-olds on a group chat using all kinds of ugly and racist and anti-Semitic words and have audacity to say kids will be kids. That's not my America. And so let's send a clear message to Washington. I'm done. As I close, and nobody believes a Baptist preacher when he says, as I close. Everywhere, people are literally grabbing on me and they're saying, keep fighting for us, please fight for us. They're saying, keep standing up. They look at the preacher and they say, give them hell. Keep fighting for us. Well, you have my promise. I'm going to keep fighting for Georgia. I'm going to keep fighting for all of our children. I'm going to keep fighting for what Dr. King called the beloved community. However, let me say this to you. While I will continue to fight, I can't really fight for you. You cannot outsource democracy to anybody. You cannot outsource citizenship. It takes all of us. That's why they're trying to divide us, because when all of us stand together and raise our voices, we win. Are you ready to win? Are you ready to hold on to the best in the American covenant and the American spirit? Are you ready to fight for health care? Are you ready to fight for workers? Are you ready to stand up for women? Are you ready to stand up for reproductive rights? Are you ready to stand up for voting rights? Are you ready to stand up for human dignity? We'll stand up every single day, do it for all of our children, do it for all of our grandchildren, and together we will win. God bless all of you. Keep the faith and keep looking up.
All right. And that wraps up Senator Raphael Warnock out of Atlanta, Georgia, giving his speech for No King's Day. This has been a presentation on Banner and Backbone Media for our special report of America in Protest, No Kings 2.0. Thank you to every single person who has come and joined us in the audience today. Thank you to all of our amazing contributors and guests and hosts and everyone out there who has participated both in the US and around the world in No Kings in some way. And part of that participation includes watching videos like this, being a part of it, being a part of the sustained activity and engagement and learning and growing and taking action and being engaged. That's what it is. It's the engagement that we need. So please continue to stay engaged, support Banner and Backbone, come become a free or paid subscriber. The network is growing quite rapidly. No, I did not end up showing any in Fayetteville, Arkansas, where I was going to go. I ended up not going to my rally today. I do not feel very good, and I did not want to get anybody there sick. I'm glad I've had some breaks in here during the stream because it's been a long afternoon. We've been on for just about 3.5 hours now. Thank you for everyone who's been with us. I do have recordings and videos, though, from Arkansas, so do not fret. For any of those in the audience who are my followers who may be from Arkansas, there are videos out there. I'm going to post them in some show notes. We're going to do some stuff this week showcasing anybody's videos and images that they'd like to have shared. So again, please send out, if you want to share any of your videos, your lives, your images, pictures of the protest signs, your favorite characters, things like that you saw, send them to Banner and Backbone in a DM. We'll put together basically a slide deck of those supporters who want their images out there. We'll go over them this week, at least on Wednesday with Senator America, when we do our normal Wednesday discussions with them and some follow-up around the protests. Just want to remind everyone, stay safe, stay vigilant, stay prepared, be peaceful and patriotic throughout. because it's important. Because we continue this movement and we continue this sustained growth through our peaceful and patriotic actions, and that's how we win. We win by the overwhelming strength and weight of our voices dissenting from this fascism and saying no. So continue to say no, friends. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again to Shane Urich, to Ellie Leonard, to Tara Devlin, to Stephanie Wilson for joining me today, and everyone in the audience. I'm Nick Perro. This is Banner and Backbone, and we will see you all next time. I will post the show notes and recap later with a rewatch. Please, as another request, send this out to all your friends, send this to your family, send it to your email list, have them watch pieces, clip parts of it, take what you want out of this to send to other people to show them how peaceful and patriotic today really was. And don't let people sell you a narrative that this was anti-American. This was the most American thing that we could have done, and what the most American ideal we have, which is united we stand and divided we fall. So stand united, friends. Thank you. And go finish out a No King's Day with your family and your friends, and remind them all that you love them and you care for them. So thank you again, and I'll see you all again soon. Have a great afternoon, everyone.